He is into the end zone. It's touchdown time in Texas for McKinney Boyd.
El Dorado Motors, Bill Joplin's, Pat Loeb Toyota.
You wanted to know about Calvin Maxwell? We'll get some of that.
The Zone, Greenville Chrysler.
Looking for Fuller wide open at the 10-5 to Jeff Fuller. It is touchdown time in Texas. What a game! Woo!
Now, let's start the pregame show. Here's Monty Walker and Brandon Helms.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Ron Poe Stadium. Monty Walker and Brandon Helms, along with Jonathan Leidy, our sideline reporter, and Mr. Jared Foyt up here in the booth spotting with us tonight. It is McKinney North and McKinney Boyd, two relatively new schools. One opened up in 2002, had a couple of hard luck seasons before they ripped open the door this year and slammed right to a 6-0 record. And on the other end of that stick is the brand new McKinney ISD school, McKinney Boyd, who is at the opposite end of that spectrum, 0-6 coming in tonight, 0-3 in district. This is a 9-4A matchup, and it looks like on paper, obviously, McKinney North, the number 2 ranked team in the area, should just march on through to this football game.
Well, at the end of the season, you can look back to this game as seeing the best team in the district facing the worst team in this district, and it's just funny that it happened to be in the same city. You know, it's not a knock on Boyd. This was to be expected. I think even the biggest optimist at best expected one win for Boyd. That's what happens. This is a team with no seniors against a very well-seasoned team in North who has a playoff win coming into last year, and they haven't missed a beat coming into this one. I mean, if you want to pull out the stat sheets, you'll see that the Bulldog defense has outscored their opponents 271-50. On the other end, Boyd's been outscored 279-80.
You know, in McKinney North's first year as a varsity program, they also had no seniors back in 2002 in District 11 4A, and the McKinney North Bulldogs went 2-8 that season. They scored only 233 points and gave up a phenomenal 330. Obviously, 33 points a game giving up is what the McKinney North Bulldogs did back in that initial 2002 season. And McKinney Boyd, you know, not much different. They are giving up a ton of points. So far, you know, last week 54 to Lake Dallas. The week before that, 47 to Frisco Centennial. They gave up 34 to a McKinney team that we thought was much better than what they have turned out to be, losing last night 28-20 to Little Elm. But that's another story, and we'll get into that later. But McKinney Boyd going through the program that all new programs do, just going through they're taking their licking, I guess, and they're looking forward to 07. And I tell you what, they have a freshman class that is going to be the McKinney North of this year. Will be their year when those freshman kids arrive to the varsity level.
It's just the way the UIL is set up nowadays. The new schools will rarely, if ever, finish above 500. You just have to work with it. These guys will be a lot more experienced and talented coming into next year, and their opponents on the other end won't have as much experience over the Boyd squad. So you just got to take your licks this year, remember it, and work to the next.
John Leidy roaming the sidelines down there tonight. He is standing right about the midfield stripe. John, you got a pretty good look at the, you know, he's wearing a toboggan. Is it that cold out there, John?
And he's over his headset.
Guys, this is the coolest night we've had of the whole year, I think. I think last night's low was in the upper 30s. And I'm anticipating tonight's game to be about the mid-50s as a low. Not as cold as last night and whatnot. But McKinney North comes in this game, as you said, undefeated, and McKinney Boyd's coming into this winless. So, like y'all said, a lot of people are picking McKinney North to go ahead and just blow this game out. But Coach Drake has coached under Coach Pratt. There's a lot of respect there. It's kind of like the big brother, young brother leading his way up, and now he's let him out to the pasture. He's got him a fresh team here. They're looking for their first win tonight. I don't think it's going to happen, though.
All right, John.
Just judging by the attitude here on the sideline, you got a loud and anxious crowd on the visitors with the McKinney North, and it's a little down here on McKinney Boyd's side right now.
All right, John, thanks a lot. And, you know, he brought up a good point that we haven't addressed yet with Don Drake being the offensive coordinator at McKinney North for all of those years. And if anyone knows McKinney North's offense and the way they like to do things, it's Don Drake for McKinney Boyd. He set that offense in place and knows exactly – and they still run basically the same formations. Now, Coach Poe, Bill Poe, who used to play quarterback at McKinney High, who is now the offensive coordinator at McKinney North. Obviously, new offensive coordinators like to put their own twists and things into their offense, but it's pretty much the basic same philosophy as Don Drake put in for the past 4 years.
Well, if it's going to work one way in the fact that Coach Drake will have an understanding of McKinney's North's offense, then it's going to work the other way around. And when you get the amount of edge and talent and experience that North has, that should be your difference. Going back real quick to that sideline report, you honestly think John's got a career meteorology ahead, the upper 30s? Not quite.
Well,
Not quite,
I didn't stay up too late to reach the low point last night, but I'll give John the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he did his homework. We're going to take a quick time out here, and we'll have the Senior Spotlight and the Coaches Show coming up next on 97.5 KLAK.
Join Monty Walker with this week's players.
Welcome back to the MISD Locker Room Show. I'm Monty Walker, and you're listening to the segment we call the Spotlight. This week we're featuring McKinney Boyd center Rusty Walton and McKinney North punter, safety, slot receiver, punt returner, everything, Brandon Dunn. Let's start off with Rusty. Where'd you grow up?
Chicago, Illinois, basically. I moved here when I was like 8, so.
You like this cold weather then?
Yeah.
When did you start playing football?
In 6th grade, I was on the Buccaneers for the Plano Football League, and that's about when I started.
Did you play center back then?
I actually played more defense. I had the defensive MVP for the league, so.
Losses are tough here at McKinney Boyd, but are you guys having fun?
Of course we're having fun. It's football.
The offense has played real well at times. Do you take pride in the fact that A.J. Jones and Nate Hill have great rushing yardage?
Yeah, because it makes the offensive line look like they're doing their job, so.
Are you friends with any of the players over at McKinney North?
Houston Beasley and Taylor Douthit, they're kind of my friends. It's I really want to win this game because it's like a rivalry. It's bragging rights.
So you used to be at North. Talk about that. What's the experience like?
I enjoy it because I get to start and I get all the playing time I want, so it's more of an opportunity for me.
Tell us about your job. You also work as well as playing football and going to school.
Yeah, I work at Little Caesars. It's kind of hard at times, but I usually only work weekends or one day during the week, and it's only until like 9 o'clock, so it's not that bad.
So do you ever get any sleep?
A little bit.
What's the worst injury you've ever had?
Probably my freshman year. I injured my back. I was out for like 3 weeks. I was doing my squat, and I guess I didn't have my form right, and it messed up my back.
So what do you expect to see from North tonight?
Hard-nosed defense, great offense. They're a good team all around.
How much pressure is it being the leader on the offensive line?
It's a lot of pressure, but I can do it. I just got to make sure all my offensive linemen know where to go and stuff like that.
All right, that was Rusty Walton of McKinney Boyd. Now let's turn it on over to Brandon Dunn of McKinney North. Brandon, how about you? Did you grow up here?
I didn't grow up here. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia.
And when did you get here?
Came here midway through my freshman year.
Tell us about your first football team. You remember that?
It was back. I played 6 and 7-year-olds. I started when I was 6 years old playing on an older team. I was the youngest. And it was even my first or second year. We went to the championship, but we lost. And it's just a good way to start going to the championship game.
What positions were you playing back then?
I was playing running back and linebacker.
What NFL player do you most admire?
Probably Deion Sanders. He can do it all whenever he wants to.
Does this go back to your Falcon days back in Atlanta or what?
Yeah, I don't think I was watching it much when he played for the Falcons, but I started with the Cowboys. I really like the Cowboys and went from there.
So who taught you how to punt?
Mostly just kicking the ball in the backyard growing up. Kind of taught myself how to punt.
Third year on varsity, you've been on both ends of the stick with 2 years ago, 0-8 at one point, and now obviously 6-0. How far has this program come?
It's come a long way. I remember back when we were 0-8, everyone played, did their own thing, and now it's just the chemistry that's brought us together and how we play together and not try to play as individuals.
So you play safety a little bit at times. What's the most fun position for you?
The most fun, I like playing safety. I like knowing what's going on at all times. So the most exciting is probably kick return because anything can happen.
You know, most times on a defense that isn't very good is when the safety has the most tackles on a team. Why is the safety making the most tackles on this defense, which is good?
I know we've been playing a lot of running teams like McKinney. McKinney, I had the most tackles, I think. and I just like to come up and make the play.
So we're talking to Brandon Dunn here at McKinney North. What do you want to do after high school?
Definitely go to college, but I'm going to apply to Georgia. I just want to go to college, get an education, and I'm going to go in as pre-medicine.
How many friends are you going to have on the other side of the ball tonight?
I don't really know a bunch of people over there, but I do know Weston and Miller. They're my good friend's little brothers, so that's going to be weird playing the little brothers.
You guys aren't overlooking Boyd at all, are you?
No, we've prepared for them just like we have any other team, and we just want to go out there, take care of what we have to, and hopefully come out with a win.
All right, this has been the Spotlight featuring McKinney Boyd senior Rusty Walton and McKinney North punter, punt returner, safety, and slot receiver Brandon Dunn. I'm Monty Walker, and the McKinney ISD Locker Room Show will continue in a moment on 97.5 KLAK.
Welcome back to Ron Post Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms. It is McKinney North and McKinney Boyd tonight. They're just about ready to go through their run-throughs. Of course, McKinney Boyd has yet to purchase one of those big, giant run-throughs. But McKinney North obviously still has their big, giant orange bulldog head that they'll run through out of here in a moment. But tonight, it's a David versus Goliath story tonight.
Yeah, except David's severely, and both his legs are broken, and one of his arms is tied behind. I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm selling Boyd short here, but this, and this is half joking and half truth, but this is almost a JV team. I mean, some of these kids are sophomores who, under normal circumstances, would still be getting time to mature their game at the JV level, and that's just, again, the nature of being a first-year program.
Well, not some of them are sophomores. Most of them are sophomores, especially the secondary from McKinney Boyd. Chris Thornton, the cornerback, is a sophomore. The other cornerback, Parker Bolinas, is a sophomore. The safety, Chris Garrison, is also a sophomore. I mean, there's sophomores, all over the place here. Weston Eubanks, the free safety, is a sophomore. So if you've got Eric Herbal throwing against all of these sophomores, yes, it basically is varsity versus JV.
Yeah, again, I don't want to make light of the fact that, I mean, one thing that's impressed me and it continues to impress me is the continued hustle we see out of Boyd. I mean, if you want to go back to even the last game we did against McKinney, they were still fighting. You know, I mean, there was a game earlier in the year against Springtown where they were still going for it at the end, onsides, and they had a legitimate chance to do something. I mean, this team's not giving up. And if you're John Drake, that's the first thing you got to look for, I think, is number one, improvement in play, but number two, what's the effort the guys give? And right now, I think Boyd's pretty high in that regard.
Well, speaking of improvement of play, Eric Herbal on the season has completed 94 passes out of 123 attempts. That's 75%. Which is absolutely incredible at the high school level, really at any level. I mean, my goodness, he's thrown 20 touchdowns compared to 3 interceptions, 758 yards. He now, for his career, is 226 out of 359, 12 interceptions and 39 touchdowns, 3,147 yards. Eric Herbal has completed 49 of his last 55 passes. And you know what? If you're familiar with the McKinney North offense, you know that they don't throw these little swing passes out of the backfield. When Eric Herbal's throwing the football, he's throwing it 15 yards down the field, and that's what's even more impressive about Mr. Herbal and the McKinney North Bulldog offense.
Well, they do throw occasional outs and swings and stuff like that, but it's not a West Coast style offense, and that's all they do. I mean, they mix. And that's what makes it so impressive is they'll throw 20-yarders down the field. They'll throw 10 yards through the middle, 5-yard out, a little swing out of the backfield. They do it all.
He's 49 out of 55, out of his last 55, and you and I have seen at least 2 times where he's thrown the ball away.
Yeah.
If that tells you anything. So some of those incompletions are on purpose.
Well, and I don't want to, make it sound like the receiving corps has done a bad job, and how much of those might have been drops, too. I remember at least one of them happened to be.
Speaking of the receiving corps, David Douglas will split out on one side for North, 43 catches, 680 yards, and 6 touchdowns. But when you talk touchdowns and you talk McKinney North receivers, you've got to talk about Blake Mooney.
Yep.
27 catches, 457 yards. But look at this, 11 touchdowns for Blake Mooney, who didn't even play football last year. He's been a basketball star. He decided after that Texas Stadium game that he wanted to be a part of this again, and he decided to suit up for football, and it's paid off big time for McKinney North. Third on the list in receiving is Aaron Fuller with 105 yards, 11 catches, and 2 touchdowns. And the big tight end, Jeff Olson, 6 catches, 61 yards, and 1 touchdown. Probably the story on offense, other than the receiving core and Eric Herbal, is Chase Barrett. 109 carries, 918 yards. That's an 8.5-yard average. 13 touchdowns on the season. In his career now, it's really crazy. 2,539 yards for Chase Barrett on 377 carries and 37 touchdowns in his really year and a half on varsity.
Well, that's the thing about this offense. You said the big story other than, and then threw another other than in there. There's a lot of talent, and these kids really play well together. And the thing is that's now been infectious on the defensive side. Not a whole lot of just talent jumping out at you, but when they play well together, the defensive line knows where the other one's going to be. The linebackers know where the line's going to be in their linebackers. I mean, they just play well as a unit together.
On the other side for McKinney Boyd, A.J. Jones leading their rushing stats, 80 carries, 432 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Right behind him is Nate Hill, who has come out of nowhere to really almost take over the position. A.J. Jones playing linebacker now as of last week. And Nate Hill has racked up 330 yards on 71 carries and 3 touchdowns. Now we want to check down on the sidelines. I think John Lighty is going to have the coin toss here in a moment.
Coincidence that he's walking off on the far sideline with North? Huh.
An old North. I guess it doesn't leave you, John. Here is John Lighty.
It's all right. I was going to shake the hands. Good luck, man. You guys, we expect good sportsmanship at all times. You guys are our captains. If we have anything on the field that we need cleaned up, we're coming to you guys. You are responsible for the action of your players. If y'all don't clean it up, then we will, okay? Guys, don't leave it up to us, okay? Be good sports, okay, at all times. If we have a penalty on the play, we're going to ask you guys to step forward and make the decision for your team, all right? McKinney North, y'all are visitors. You guys, McKinney Boyd, are home. You're going to call in the air. What are you going to call? Heads. Heads. If I drop it, we'll do it again. After I catch it, you repeat what he calls, okay? In the air. Call it loud. Heads. It is? Heads. It's tails. You won the toss. You can kick, receive, defend the goal, defer to half.
McKinney Boyd.
All right. 1 second.
That is the McKinney Boyd Broncos' Travis Yarborough, who has won the toss for the McKinney Boyd Broncos.
Kicking from the clock. That's right.
And Travis Yarborough will have the McKinney Boyd Broncos put their back to the south end. And now the McKinney North Bulldogs will be moving right to left from north to south. Eric Herbal, Kenny Alexander celebrating a birthday yesterday, and Chase Barrett, the captain's out there for North. It was Yarborough and the offensive tackle Reese Redmond for McKinney Boyd coming out. So Boyd, I believe, will receive the football, or actually will kick off. They will defend. They will defer to the second half. So North, wow. Let's start off with North on the football field. Why don't we?
That may be it.
And we certainly don't want to downplay this because, Boyd, obviously a brand new school, no seniors. They're going to have their struggles, and obviously they're going to have their struggles against the number 2 team in the area, which happens to be calling McKinney home as well. And here come the McKinney Boyd Broncos through their run through that the cheerleaders have made for them. Now the McKinney Boyd Broncos come out in their blue tops, white numerals with white stripes over the shoulder pads like the New York Jets. They have gray pants and a red stripe outlined in blue down the side of their pants, blue helmets and a red stripe down the middle of the helmet. They look a lot like the New York Giants. Coming out now through their inflated bulldog head are the McKinney North Bulldogs, all white tonight, white pants, white tops, orange helmets. The helmets look like the Cleveland Browns, except replace that brown stripe with the blue stripe from McKinney North. But they also have those stripes over the shoulder pads, blue outlined in orange, and they have dark blue numerals. We're just about ready for the national anthem. We'll take a quick timeout. McKinney ISD football will continue in a moment on 97.5 KLAK.
I just can't.
Well, we must have a pretty good listening audience tonight because not a lot of fans made it out to this one. Now the McKinney North crowd starting to pile in a little bit, but the McKinney Boyd fans obviously taking an absent slip on this one. Now, although I would say the stands are about 20% full here at Ron Poe Stadium. Monty Walker and Brandon Helms, thanks everyone for joining us tonight. It's McKinney North and McKinney Boyd, a 9-4A matchup. Going over the district standings, right now McKinney North, Lake Dallas, and Frisco would be in if it ended right now. They all three have 3-0 records in district. Right behind them with a 1-2 record, Frisco Centennial and the Colony, both with 1-2 records. And then trailing up, Little Elm and McKinney, both 1-3 after that game last night that Little Elm defeated McKinney 28-20. And rounding out the bottom of District 9-4A here is McKinney Boyd, who is 0-3, still looking for their first win of the season. Teeing it up for McKinney Boyd will be Travis Yarbrough at the 40-yard line. Back deep to receive this kick for McKinney North will be Chase Barrett. Along with Kenny McGowan. McGowan will stand on the far side, the west side. Again, McKinney North moving right to left from north to south. And McKinney Boyd will fake the Quail onside, back up. And now Colton Floyd and a couple others will move back into receive. And Mike Smith will move back as up men on the return team from McKinney North. And here's Travis Yarbrough. And the ball is a squibber right down the middle. It's going to be taken at the 29-yard line by Marquise Millard Sims, and he'll be tackled at the 41-yard line in McKinney North territory. So just underway, 11:56 left to go in the first quarter. No score, obviously, here at Ron Poe Stadium.
Well, I'm not quite sure what the attempt was there. I don't know if that was an intentional squib kick or if that was what we saw a couple weeks ago where they tried to kick it off one of the up linemen. But either way, it went through the up lineman ranks, was picked up around the 30 and taken out to the 41. Leaving the North Bulldogs 59 yards shy of the end zone.
First down and 10. We'll give you the North offense, the dog offense right after this play. Herbal in shotgun formation, two receivers to the near side. He's going to get it. Drops back 3 steps, looks over to David Douglas on the near side, has it caught at the 50, crosses over to the midfield stripe, crosses over to the 45. Now he's got a lane. Look out, 40, 35 down to the 31-yard line. Goes David Douglas on a little swing pass, and another first down for McKinney North. Here's your McKinney North starting offense.
Dan Holt, left tackle. Ryan Selder-Carney, left guard. Taylor Doff at center. Colton Lucker, right guard. Brett Davis, right tackle. Jeff Olson, tight end. Alex Parker, wide receiver. David Douglas, wide receiver. Blake Mooney, wide receiver. Chase Barrett, running back. Eric Herbal, quarterback.
29-yard pass and catch from Eric Herbal to David Douglas has North in Boyd territory at the 30-yard line. First and 10, 11:32 and rolling first quarter. Herbal in shotgun formation has Douglas to the near side, Mooney to the far right. He's going to hand off Barrett, running left tackle, breaks a hole, breaks over A.J. Jones, and now he's in the clear. 10, 5, and he's caught right at the 5-yard line. A nice catch over on that far side, and that's going to be Chris Garrison, the sophomore, coming up and making the stop. Here's your McKinney Boyd Broncos starting defense.
Nathan Winchard, defensive end. Justin Cordova, defensive tackle.
Lee Shredman, defensive tackle.
Cole Akins, defensive end. Jamel Minor, middle linebacker.
Nate Hill, linebacker. Parker Bolinas, corner. Chris Thornton, cornerback. Matt Morton, strong safety.
Chris Garrison, strong safety.
Wesley Eubanks, free safety.
16-yard gain for 26-yard gain rather for Chase Barrett. And on the carry here, we'll go Barrett once again, trying to find that end zone. It's touchdown time in Texas for McKinney North. So on 3 plays, go McKinney North into the end zone for their first score at 6-0. North on top with 10:59 left to go in the first quarter. It didn't even take it took a minute and 1 second, didn't it?
And it begins.
The swinging gate, they're going to go for 2 here.
What?
And into the end zone. And no, it's going to be no good. The 2-point conversion is no good. So with 10:59 left to go in the first quarter, 6-0. McKinney North on top. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. 3 plays, 59 yards. It took a minute and 1 second off of this first quarter clock for McKinney North to take their first lead tonight. 6-0 over McKinney Boyd. Welcome back to Ron Poe Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms. Thanks for joining us tonight. It will be Stephen Meyer teeing it up to kick it away. Now McKinney Boyd will have their first shot at it.
Well, I'm going to give credit to the Boyd defense on that swinging gate, especially when, you're going into a game severe underdogs. There's the Quail onside. You almost just expect it to be the extra point because they're likely to do it so often. Give credit to that defensive special teams play there for not letting Barrett get into the end zone for the 2-point conversion.
Stephen Meyer approaches the ball, puts it in the air. A pretty high short kick, however, going to bounce at the 15, take a hop, go out of bounds. So, yes, it will go out of bounds. There's the flag. So McKinney North will have to kick over. We'll give you the officials for tonight's game out of the Dallas chapter. The referee, Terry Mayfield. The umpire, Robert Reed. The head linesman, Reggie Andrew. The line judge, David Stephen. And the back judge, Greg Smith. Again, out of the Dallas chapter. Stephen Meyer will tee this one up and kick it off again. Again, 3 plays for the McKinney North offense. David Douglas, and then it was all Chase Barrett.
It's kind of funny. It was a gain of 29, a gain of 26, a touchdown run of 4, but they couldn't get the 3 yards for the 2-point conversion.
I think we'll see a lot tonight of some players that we don't normally see. We'll see in the second half, probably see Fruit Cole and some of those guys, David Robinson carrying the ball tonight that you don't normally see. David Robinson.
Vince Stanko.
Yeah, Stanko, the quarterback, will play a lot, assuming North takes care of business here and they don't let Boyd make a game out of this. And who knows? You never know. You have to play the football game, and that's why we're here. Stephen Meyer will fake the Quail onside, and everybody loves to do that these days. But now teeing it up from the 35, Meyer will kick this one away. Back deep for McKinney Boyd will be Jeff Fuller along with A.J. Jones. And the kick, this one's a better kick. It's very high. It's going to go to A.J. Jones. It's taken at the 15-yard line. Coming straight up the middle is Jones. Has a seam up to the 40. Breaking one tackle to the 42-yard line, but a flag down at the 41. And it looks like it's going to be a hold against McKinney Boyd. So we'll spot and see where this one is. Why don't we go ahead and give you the McKinney Boyd starting offense. Here they are.
Nathan Lynchard, left tackle.
Lee Sheridan, left guard. Rusty Walton, center. Matt Pajinska, right guard.
Jeremy Rain, right tackle.
Jamel Minor, tight end. Jeff Fuller, wide receiver.
Parker Valinas, wide receiver.
A.J. Jones, running back.
Philip Sears, quarterback.
Now they're going to wave off the flag here. So starting at the 41-yard line will be McKinney Boyd. A nice return by A.J. Jones there.
Well, they're going to get a better starting field position than the Bulldogs did.
Both starting at the 41.
Well, actually, they're starting at the 43 here, Monty. I was trying to be nice to you.
Oh, sorry.
If you want to do that. But I think it's probably safe to say the Boyd offense not as prolific as the Bulldog offense.
I formation for McKinney Boyd, moving left to right from their own 43-yard line. Everybody tight. No big wide receiver outside. And it'll be Sears who tosses to Nate Hill, jumps over one defender. He jumped over Michael Scott to get a couple of more yards, and he actually gains 5 out to the 48. Here's your McKinney North starting defense.
K.A. DN, Ruben Gonzalez, defensive tackle.
Brett Davis, nose guard.
Ryan Selby-Carney, right tackle. Sean Robinson, DN. Colton Floyd, inside linebacker.
Mike Smith, inside linebacker.
Mike Scott, cornerback. Jimmy McGowan, quarterback.
Brendan Dunn, safety.
It'll be second down and 5 from the 48 for McKinney Boyd. Again, everybody tight. I formation. Sears goes under center. He's going to toss left side this time to Nate Hill. Gets a good block on the inside, but can't get away from the tackler there. And Ruben Gonzalez comes up and makes the stop. It's going to be about a yard loss for McKinney Boyd. He got one pretty good block from his fullback, but he didn't get another one.
Yeah, there's what you're likely to see all day. This dog pound defense, very good at the pursuit. They're able to fill those gaps immediately and race to where the ball carrier is going to be. And then they also have backside pursuit, so there's not a good chance of Hill or A.J. Jones bouncing it back the other way.
6-0, McKinney North on top, 9:35 left to go. First quarter. McKinney Boyd on third down in their first possession here. I formation, handoff up the middle. No, Sears wants to throw. He's under pressure, and he's sacked by Rashad Robinson back at the 35-yard line. Robinson came untouched from the backside and drove Sears to the turf.
Yeah, blitz coming out on the outside. They're just more defenders than there were blockers. This dog pound defense is too good for that.
Yeah, and it will be back deep to return the punt. Brandon Dunn for North will stand at his own 32. The punt by Yarborough will be a low line driver that'll bounce right at the feet of Dunn and go right past him. A great roll inside the 10 down to the 6-7 yard line is where they'll kill it. The 7 yard line. What a punt by Travis Yarborough. And most of it was obviously on the roll. About 22 yards of it came via the roll.
Well, it was a 6-7 yard punt.
Wow.
Now that's what this the Bronco defense needed. You know, it's hard for the Bulldogs to get in their full comfort zone when they're within their own 10-yard line with the back to the end zone.
8:42 left to go in the first quarter. McKinney North on top, 6-0. Back deep in their own territory now at the 7 yard line. Herbal in shotgun is going to hand off up the middle. Chase Barrett, who's hit immediately and goes down. Maybe a loss of a yard on the play. Might have got his way back to the line of scrimmage, but a nice job there by, it was Miller Burns coming up for McKinney Boyd making the stop there.
Well, Chase Barrett's total slowly gone downhill from his first carry of 26. It was then a carry of 4, granted touchdown, and then it was a carry of nothing there. So I'm looking for something, you know.
Split out wide. David Douglas to the near side. Blake Mooney split out wide to the right. Shotgun for Herbal. And he's going to hand off Barrett. Left tackle once again, fighting his way through the hole. Met at the line of scrimmage. And A.J. Jones takes him down at the 9 yard line. So McKinney Boyd looking good here in this defensive series. A.J. Jones, again, last week playing linebacker for the first time in his life, had 11 tackles. So Don Drake said, I think we'll leave him out there and see how he does. And he's responded.
He's got a good build. He's a little bit on the small side to be a linebacker, but he's very strong, and he's very quick, so he's able to react. You saw it right there. Chase Barrett trying to run to the outside off tackle. It was only for 2 yards because of the quickness of Jones.
3rd and 8 for McKinney North. Herbal drops back 3 steps, looks near side, wants to throw, has his man caught. David Douglas at the 20, escapes to the 25 yard line and out of bounds there. Maybe a late hit by A.J. Jones, but the official says no. 7:14 on the first quarter clock. First down for McKinney North, and Eric Herbal is 2 out of 2 tonight. 15-yard completion. Herbal to Douglas, and they make it look so easy, Brandon.
Yeah, it's a beautiful play. That ball was in the air before Douglas turned around. You'd expect your defense to read it more quick. The cornerback didn't react until Douglas had cut. By that time, it's too late.
Olsen in the slot, or the tight end rather, handoff Barrett, and he runs right into Nate Lynchard at the line of scrimmage. He does barrel his way for a couple of yards, however, to the 29 yard line, so officially a gain of 3. So it's been all Herbal and Barrett, just like most games.
Well, he has a carry of 26, but in the next 4 carries, he's only been able to get 9 yards.
We'll check down with John Leidy right after this play and see how things are going down on that sideline. 2 receivers to the right side, 1 to the left. The near side, again, McKinney North moving right to left. Herbal and shotgun. Stand-up tight end is Jeff Olsen. Low snap. Herbal digs it, picks it up, throws it to Douglas, and it's caught at the 32 yard line. Escapes 2 defenders, and now he's brought down shy of the 40 yard line, right at the 39. On the tackle for McKinney Boyd is going to be Chris Garrison along with Chris Thornton. John Leidy, what's going on down there on the sidelines?
Guys, I'm down here on the McKinney Boyd sideline, and actually the coaches are very enthusiastic on the play of the Broncos on this drive so far. They've been able to keep the run down to 2 to 3 yards per carry, and something I've noticed that if they can do that and do that and do that, that can put a little bit of life into this team heading into the second quarter.
All right, John, thank you very much with your toboggan on tonight. 6:23 left to go first quarter, 6-0. McKinney North on top here. 1st and 10 from their own 40-yard line.
Herbal 3 of 3 already on the young game. All 3 receptions going to David Douglas, a total of 57 yards. And each of those receptions have gone for a first down.
Douglas comes to the near side. Mooney split out wide right. Herbal 4 yards behind And shotgun, throws it out to Douglas again. 45-50, look out. 45 down the sidelines and just shy of the other 40. It's going to go out of bounds at the 41. So another first down from Herbal to Douglas will move the sticks. And McKinney North, they're just really picking on Chris Thornton, the cornerback over here on the near side.
Well, David Douglas outmatches Thornton in size, and you can tell that the last two plays have been missed tackles, and that's one thing that Drake has made mention of after a couple of games is the fact that the defense has a hard time finishing out the tackle. And Douglas not only broke Thornton's tackle, but he also made another one miss on his way to a 19-yard gain.
Shotgun, Herbal. Boyd showing blitz, handoff Barrett, and he is met at the line of scrimmage, brought down almost immediately. I said over there it was Chris Thornton, but into the football game, playing that corner is Blake Little, so we may have to give Blake a little of the credit there instead of Chris Thornton.
Credit?
Well, I don't know if it's credit, but we'll mention that Douglas is lined up across from Blake Little. And Little is a junior, so he has a little bit more experience over there. Coming left is David Douglas, split out wide right is Mooney. They're going to hand off. No, they're going to throw it in the flats, and that's going to be Parker who makes the catch, and he's fighting for first down yardage to the 31-yard line. And I said Parker, that actually was Aaron Fuller on the catch. Coming into tonight's game, Fuller had 11 catches, 105 yards, and 2 touchdowns. The 2 touchdowns came last week, and also 4 of his catches for 46 yards came last week, and he catches another one right there and moves the sticks at the 31-yard line. 4:46 and rolling here in the first. North on top, 6-0.
Well, that's the 5th pass reception by a Bulldog receiver. It goes for 9 yards, but more importantly, every pass has gone for first down also.
Herbal will stand at the 35 in shotgun formation. Line of scrimmage is 31. Movement up front. And Herbal pointing at the line of scrimmage like it was Boyd. There hasn't been an indication yet.
They can cross the neutral zone as long as they don't make contact. And if that's the case, then it's going to be an illegal procedure.
It is going to be...
Nope. Delay a game.
Against the defense?
Yeah, it's odd. There's still 6 seconds. I mean, I know it can happen. I just don't remember the scenarios for which a defense can get a delay of game penalty.
Well, the ball will now be at the 26-yard line. This will be the 8th play of the drive for McKinney North, Brandon.
Delay of game is usually where you lay on an opponent after a tackle trying to take more time off the clock and things like that. This came before the snap. I'm not sure how that's possible. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad call. I'm just saying I'm not sure how it is.
First down and 5 for McKinney North, moving right to left. Herbal, shotgun, drops back 3 steps, wants to throw it down the left side, fires it down for David Douglas, caught it at the 5, into the end zone. It's touchdown time in Texas. Herbal to Douglas, and just like that, it's 12-0 with 3:55 left to go in the first quarter. Wow. Herbal puts it right on the money every time. Here's the swinging gate, 12-0, and will they try it again?
They shouldn't.
Well, they'll bring in Stephen Meyer in the kicking team now.
We're probably going to see a lot more of this. It's a simple 26-yard touchdown pass, but it puts Eric Herbal at over 100 yards passing, just barely 8 minutes into the game.
The snap's on the tee. The kick is up. This kick is good. 13-0, McKinney North on top. 3:55 left to go first quarter. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Post Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms. It was an enormous drive by the McKinney North Bulldogs. 8 plays, 93 yards, and it took 4 minutes and 34 seconds off the clock. McKinney North went in on the 26-yard touchdown from Eric Herbal to David Douglas. 13-0. North on top here early on. And Stephen Meyer is going to tee this one up at the 40-yard line and boot this one away. Again, back deep for McKinney Boyd will be A.J. Jones along with Jeff Fuller. Both of those guys coming over from McKinney High. And we mentioned earlier that McKinney High lost last night, 28-20 to Little Elm. And you know those two kids could have helped the McKinney High team for sure.
Absolutely.
Here's the kickoff by Stephen Meyer, going to bounce and go out of bounds again. Meyer has been a really good kicker so far, but tonight,
except on kickoffs.
And for some reason, he's having problems on kickoffs, getting him to stay within the stripes there.
Well, tonight's a microcosm, but he's kind of done this in the few games that we've covered of North this year. The first kickoff of the night that he had went out of bounds on the far side. The next kickoff went down the middle, and this one now comes off on the near side. So he's spraying the field with it at least. And I'm not sure if that's what they're intending to do, trying to get into a certain kicker's hands or a certain returner's hands or not. But he's all over the field with his kickoffs.
You can tell by the stats what McKinney Boyd likes to do. They like to run the football just because they simply don't have the player personnel to throw the football down the field like Eric Herbal.
Well, and the offensive line, too.
Philip Sears on the season, 14 out of 50 for 184 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. The other quarterback that will rotate with him at times is Travis Yarborough. 6 completions out of 17 attempts, 61 yards, 1 touchdown, and 3 interceptions. So as a team, 4 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. That's why they run I formation.
Well, it's also kind of why you need a good group effort. A bad offensive lineman, not going to help a whole lot with Eric Herbal.
A high pooch kick by Stephen Meyer going to be taken at the 22-yard line. And the returner, Blake Little, will make his way up to the 29. So Boyd will start in their own territory at the 29-yard line with 3:46 left to go in the first quarter, down 13-0.
Going back to my last statement, I don't want to make it sound like we're saying that Boyd is bad. I think the main thing that we want to try to emphasize, they're just inexperienced and young. That's the main thing, and that'll cause you a lot of problems at this stage, but help you in the next stage.
Zach Jones and A.J. Jones in the backfield for McKinney Boyd. Everybody tight once again. Even the receivers are standing just feet apart on the right side of that offensive line. Sears, the quarterback, toss right side. That's A.J. Jones. Has the 30, cuts it back inside, jumps over one defender, and he's tackled as he jumps in midair by Rashad Robinson, who makes the tackle at the 36-yard line. So a nice gain of 6 yards on first down for Boyd, and I know Boyd's happy with that.
Well, they got 5 on their last drive on the first carry. It's now important that the next play follows that up. They lost 2 yards and then were sacked back for 10-yard loss. Now it's just the time you got to make sure that you get positive yards going forward.
Sears goes under center, I formation. He's going to toss left side. A.J. Jones cuts it back to the right. He's got a lot of room if he can get a block. Gets one from Jeremy Raines, cuts it out to the 40. 45, look out. Crosses the 50 and pushed out of bounds. Well, they're going to say he stepped out shy of midfield at the 49-yard line, but some shaking and baking by A.J. Jones, and another first down for McKinney Boyd.
Gain of 13, obviously their biggest play of the night.
And that one was all A.J. Jones. He did get the block from Jeremy Raines, however, but A.J. just simply saw a wall of McKinney North Bulldogs to the left side and said, nope, I don't think I'm going there. Changed direction, came back where nobody was. And you have to give him credit because he actually saw that, although it drives Coach Drake crazy at times.
Well, and the McKinney North defense helped them. They usually keep their contained very well, but no one was giving backside pursuit.
Handoff up the middle this time. A.J. Jones kicks it out left side, 50, trying to find the corner. Now cuts it inside. He's in a lot of trouble and chased behind the line of scrimmage. Reversing the field, comes near side, being chased, 50, 45, 40. And he's drugged down and out of bounds inside the 35-yard line. Kenny McGowan and Marquise Millard-Sims makes the stop. It could have been a late hit as they rode him out of bounds.
Well, they were still making contact. It's not like they heard the whistles, they were still on him and then forced him down. They were in the motion of going down. It just happened a little deeper out of bounds.
So the ball will be spotted. Another tremendous run by A.J. Jones. The ball spotted inside the 35. Timeout called. We'll take 1-2. 13-0. McKinney North in the lead. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. 13-0. McKinney North in the lead here over McKinney Boyd. 2:45 left to go first quarter. And McKinney Boyd is starting to move the football now with A.J. Jones. Philip Sears barking the signal, goes under center. He's going to hand off up the middle to A.J. Jones, met at the line of scrimmage and push right back. He might not have even got back to the line of scrimmage. A number of Bulldog now, late flags will fly, and that will be, actually Nate Hill was into the game at tailback, and it looks like personal foul will probably be called against McKinney Boyd.
You got to keep your head.
You can't give up penalties like that. Of course, Coach Don Drake not happy. Actually, there's one personal foul on each, so they will be offset. So the run by Nate Hill will stand. And I'm not sure, A.J. Jones had been doing a lot of dancing back there in the backfield. Coach Drake might not have been happy with him doing really his own thing, because that's basically what had happened.
One of the coaches down on the sidelines talking to him right now as we speak. It could be that's exactly what it is. I mean, obviously it's worked now, but the problem is it's not going to work every time, and more often than not you're going to get hit for a loss.
And it was very risky, because at one point he was way behind the line of scrimmage before he finally reversed field and got the wide open seam. Everybody tight now for McKinney Boyd. I formation. Sears wants to throw. He's under pressure. Coming on the blitz is Ruben Gonzalez, and he just throws it out of bounds. It'll be third down and short, or third down and long, rather. 3rd and 12 for McKinney Boyd.
See, Monty, this is what I was talking about earlier when I was saying that, you got to have and here's a late penalty. Looks to be against Boyd. But, the offensive line, again, still young. You could have Eric Herbal passing all you want to, but, there was a white jersey almost immediately after the snap. And it was a personal foul on Boyd. Oh, and someone's been ejected.
Reese Redmond coming into the game. Justin Cordova coming out of the game. One of the McKinney Boyd Broncos grabbed Cordova by the shoulder pads, and as if to say, hey, settle down. Not saying that Cordova is the one who was guilty of that, but Cordova is now out of the game.
Well, he's still on the sidelines. If you're ejected, do you have to go to the locker room? I think you do.
Yes, you do.
Because I hate to admit this, but when I was in high school, I got ejected for one game, and I think I had to go to the locker room.
That happened to Lorenzo Jones a couple of years ago on this very field. That really made a difference in the outcome of that football game. I believe it was against Hebron. And if Lorenzo Jones had stayed in that football game and not been ejected, then I think the McKinney Lions would have had a different outcome that night.
Well, anytime you lose a player, no good can come of that. I mean, there's absolutely nothing positive that can come out of the player being ejected. So what you have to just try to do now, find the backup, and in this situation, you'll give him more experience for the upcoming year, next year, and if it's a sophomore, the year after that.
Well, McKinney Boyd, who basically can run the football, and they do run it well at times.
Now, I don't know if they can run it for 27 yards and one down.
That's what I was alluding to. 3rd down and 27. It's a pretty tough chore here for the McKinney Boyd Broncos on 3rd down. Nate Hill in the backfield standing right behind Zach Jones, and now the whistles blow before this snap can get underway. And I believe the officials are just talking here, trying to figure out what.
Well, ejecting a player can be a big deal.
Let's check down with John Lighty. John's down there. What have you got for us?
Well, guys, this has kind of evolved over the past 4 or 5 plays. The 2 plays that got ran out of bounds, there was close to being personal fouls on those. And it escalated with personal foul for both teams out there. And I'm not exactly sure who got the personal foul the first time for the Broncos, but I think it was the exact same player. He got it again for some profound language and some other things that he had made comments out there for. So he's going to be sitting out this game tonight.
All right, John, the officials still sorting things out. We're just about to get underway, hopefully. 2:23 left to go in the first quarter. McKinney North on top 13-0. This was at one point a very quick-moving game. It has come to a standstill here in the past 5 minutes or so, as we've just kind of been standing around looking at flags on the field.
Well, I don't know if we're 100% sure on who was ejected. We did see a player coming off after the fact, but he may have well been off. Justin Cordova is on the sideline, which would be a shame because he's a starter on defense, and the reason why we don't know if it's him, he's a backup on offense.
He was into the football game on that certain play as
Right.
Reese Redmond had come out for the moment. So it'll be 3rd down and 27 when the officials decide to get going here. Now they're talking to Sean Pratt on the far sideline. Coach Pratt is discussing something with the officials out right at the 50-yard line, right at the 48-yard line. He comes out to the numbers on the field.
I'm not sure what he would have a beef over because you're going to lose the down. It was a dead ball foul, so that, it'll be 3rd down no matter what. They marked off 10 yards, so I'm not sure I mean, everything in that situation worked out in favor of him, and I don't know of any other situation in which it would work out better for him. You know what I mean? He may be just trying to figure out what happened.
Zach Jones will come out of the game. He's the fullback. Lamar Peoples will check in. He'll go over to a slot position as they run sort of the spread look here. Jeff Fuller split out wide right. And over to the far side, split out wide, will be Grant Gibson, the sophomore, who caught a 10-yard touchdown pass last week. In the slot will be Matt Morton, the junior. And standing in the backfield is Nate Hill. Sears will go in shotgun formation. 3rd and 27. 2:23 left to go, first quarter. McKinney North on top, 13-0. Boyd moving left to right. Sears marking signals. Moves, drops back 2 steps. Now he wants to run. He's flushed out of the pocket. 45-40, a lot of room. 30, 25, and runs out of bounds just shy of the first down marker. Or did he get it? He's right at it. Had the chains been on this side of the field, he'd have obviously seen where he needed to go. But with the chains on the far side, he just simply ran out of bounds to avoid the tackle and may have come up short.
Well, and he ran out of bounds 2 or 3 yards shy of the defender. He could have got more. It's going to be a first down regardless, so it was a good series for him from that perspective. But, boy, I mean, if that happened to be close, I mean, I'm not saying you want your quarterback to lower the shoulder, but at the same time, well, apparently he knew where the first down was because he got it. So he did have – well, is it not a first down?
It is a first down, but I think it's by –
well, but if he knew going in that he had to get to the 24.
Here's A.J. Jones back into the game, takes the handoff left tackle. He's caught right at the line of scrimmage. It'll be Brett Davis and Ruben Gonzalez making the stop. It'll bring up second down at about 9.
You know, I mean, if he knew he had to get to the 24 and he gets out at the 24, I mean, you can look at me all you want to. Bottom line is if you know where the first down is and you get out at the first down, you know, I mean, when you're in that long of a situation, you have the open field, you're generally thinking, man, I think I can get the first down. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Second down and 10. They'll call it no gain on first down. A.J. Jones will now move to the left side of Sears, who's in shotgun, throws it out right side and way out of bounds, and he threw a missile right over the head of Jeff Fuller. Fuller really didn't have time to respond to it.
Well, I think there was miscommunication because it looked as if Sears was throwing either a fade or a flag, whereas Fuller came and did a stop, and he started coming in towards the line of scrimmage.
3rd down and 10 for McKinney Boyd, moving left to right in McKinney North territory at the 24-yard line. Jeff Fuller split out wide right. Grant Gibson split wide left. Lamar Peoples in the slot. Shotgun for Sears with A.J. Jones beside him. A.J. picks up the blitz. Fade route for Jeff Fuller in the end zone, and it's overthrown by a step. Fuller was all alone. He had his defender beat, and that was Michael Scott. Fuller just turned on the juices, and he had to because the ball was way out there.
Well, and Sears had to throw it like that because there was white in his face again immediately. It's harder for offensive linemen to pass block than it is to run block, and that's why this team is a little bit better with the inexperienced offensive line at running the ball than they are passing. It's a very much more of a timing issue and a reactionary issue. It's the only part of the offense that actually has to react because the defense that's rushing is just pinning their ears back going to where Sears is.
If I'm McKinney Boyd, I'd probably run the same play right here on 4th down. They are going to go for it. High snap. Sears wants to throw it. Heaves it over to Grant Gibson. It's right over his head and incomplete. He threw another bullet out there. And Rashad Robinson in coverage. And it'll be turned over to McKinney North with $1:26 left to go in the first quarter. North on top, 13-0.
That's odd. Going for it short of the first down marker at 4th and 10. Why not kick a field goal? See what your kid's got.
You know what? I'm just of the philosophy when you have a kid like Jeff Fuller, just throw it up and let him go get it as many times as you can. It looked good. The actual play right before on the 3rd down play looked great. It was just barely overthrown by Phillip Sears.
Well, if he gets half a second more protection, the pass is probably a little bit better.
North will start at their own 24-yard line with 1:26 left to go first quarter. Herbal shotgun, hands off. That's Fruit Cole to the left tackle, to the 30 and down to the 32-yard line. And on the stop was A.J. Jones for McKinney Boyd. A nice gain there, as we already have a few new players into the game. Most notably, it's Fruit Cole. Along the offensive line, well, I believe most of the offensive line is still in.
Yeah, they may just be giving Barrett a spell.
And that's probably what's happening here. Because most of the other starters are still in the game. I mean, it's 13-0 in the first quarter. Obviously, you wouldn't be pulling the starters at this point. Herbal in shotgun. Fruit Cole standing right behind him, now moves to his right, and he's going to hand off to him, running left tackle. Big gaping hold of the 40, look at 45, up to the 49-yard line. A first down for McKinney North as Chris Garrison, the sophomore safety, makes the stop for Boyd.
Gain of 16 yards. That's Cole's longest. And it's only the second first down via rush. The other 5 first downs have come from the arm of Eric Herbal, mostly to David Douglas. I mean, right now, the North offense is just shooting on all cylinders.
Fruit Cole stands right behind Barrett, now moves to his right behind him, and he's going to get the Herbal wants to throw it in the slot. He's got his receiver out there. Alex Parker makes the catch and is actually tackled before he goes out of bounds. A gain of a couple of yards. Parker Bolinas, the cornerback for McKinney Boyd, makes the stop. It'll be second down, and that is the end of the first quarter. 13-0, McKinney North on top. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Post Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms, John Leidy, and Jared Foyt. We are now into the second quarter. McKinney North is on top 13-0. They'll flip sides here, and North will have the ball at the 49-yard line. Actually, no, at the 46, rather. Inside Boyd territory. Moving left to right now. Fruit Cole still into the game for McKinney North, replacing Chase Barrett, who may be just getting a breather here. The rest of the starters are in. It'll be Blake Mooney coming to the near side now. Brandon Dunn in the slot. David Douglas split out wide left on that far side. Herbal in shotgun formation. He'll stand at his own 49 in shotgun. Drops the ball, low snap, picks it up, throws it out to David Douglas, who bobbles it and catches it at the 45, trying to make a couple of people miss. He pulls an A.J. Jones and crosses the field up to the 35-yard line, being dragged down at the 30. So David Douglas makes a lot happen there as he reverses his field, just like A.J. Jones did a moment ago. It picks up a first down, and that play looked kind of dangerous from the get-go with the low snap and then the bobbled catch and then the reverse field. It's not how they drew it up, I'm sure.
Well, let's analyze that play for a minute. Shotgun bobbled snap, plays on the ground, or the ball's on the ground. Herbal picks it up, avoids a rush, throws it to Douglas, who bobbles it, and then once he gets a hold of it, looks forward, there's nothing. So a receiver reverses field and gains 16 yards. Wow.
First down and 10 for McKinney North. 11:20 left to go first quarter. This is going to be a handoff to Fruit Cole, running left tackle. Big hold up to the 20. 15, look out. 10, 5. Fruit Cole is down at the 1-yard line. A 30-yard run by Fruit Cole before he was tackled by Chris Thornton, just shy of the goal line. Thornton came in with 12 tackles, and he's already racked up several tonight. But it'll be first and goal for McKinney North. They'll actually say he was down at the 3-yard line, or the 2 rather. They're marking the ball at the 2-yard line. So give him 29 yards on that carry.
He's already up to 44 on the game, more than Chase Barrett.
Split out wide right is Mooney, who loves the end zone. Brandon Dunn in the slot. David Douglas split left. This is going to be a handoff to Fruit Cole, running up the middle over left guard, and he is into the end zone. It's touchdown time in Texas for McKinney North. The third time tonight, 19-0 over McKinney Boyd with 10:44 left to go here in the first quarter.
Nothing fancy there. Just a simple handoff on the interior part of the left offensive line. You got just enough of the yardage to get the score, and now it's 19-0. Boyd, they haven't been bad. They're actually doing pretty good in the field position battle.
They're going to run that swinging gate once again. Now they're going to come out.
This is a full offensive set.
Yeah, this is an offensive set now, going for 2. Fruit Cole in the backfield, 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Shotgun, Herbal gets it, wants to throw left side for Douglas. It is caught, and it can't get any easier than that. That was the old Aikman to Irvin quick slant, and there's 2 points for you. 21-0, McKinney North on top. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. 6 plays, 76-yard drive for McKinney North, capped off by a 2-yard touchdown by Fruit Cole and a 2-point conversion by Herbal to Douglas. Our new score, 21-0. McKinney North in the lead with 10:44 left to go in the second quarter. And Fruit Cole has just scored his 4th touchdown of the year. Came in with 21 carries, 170 yards. And Brandon mentioned that he's up over 40 now.
He's got more than Chase Barrett on less carries. Fruit's 4 for 46, whereas Chase Barrett's is 6 for 37.
And now they will not fake the Quail onside, but they'll boot it deep. Jeff Fuller takes it at the 1-yard line, comes across the 15, has nowhere to go. Now he reverses field up to the 20, trying to outrun Michael Scott. Out to the 30, 35, look out, Fuller, 40, 45, 50. Jeff Fuller could go, and he's tripped up at the 40-yard line. It was the kicker, Stephen Meyer, who brought him down with a shoestring tackle at the 40-yard line, or Jeff Fuller was gone.
I can't make Coach Drake happy seeing all these reverses we're seeing today. That's the 3rd one that Boyd has done. Now, granted, it's way different on a kickoff than it is on a play. And number 2, Fuller didn't go that deep. He just went about 5 yards of reversal on the field before taking it down the sideline. But how about Meyer? I mean, you can't draw it up any better than that.
What a nice return there by Jeff Fuller. Sets up Boyd in pretty good position here in the second quarter. 10:27 left to go in the second quarter. Down 21-0 to North. Shotgun formation. Travis Yarborough into the game. He's going to keep it on the option. Nope, he hands it off. He should have kept it as Nate Hill got the handoff. Ruben Gonzalez met him as soon as he got the ball. And down at the 39-yard line, a loss of 4 on the play.
Well, not too great for Nate. His first carry was a gain of 5, but his last 3 have been losses of 2 yards, 1 yard, and then that one of 4 yards. And I'm glad you were able to tell me who it was, because all I could see was a pile of white.
Well, we want to thank Jared Foyt for that, who was Johnny on the spot, saw who came up with the tackle there. Here's Nate Hill moving in motion, and Travis Yarborough wants to throw. His first pass of the night. Nope, he doesn't get to throw it because he's sacked. Ryan Selby Carney coming up and dropping Travis Yarborough back to the 49-yard line. They'll actually spot him at the 48. So McKinney Boyd moving nowhere but backwards here. That's going to be a 9-yard loss.
Also give credit to Rashad Robinson. Him and Carney split the sack. They both got there at the same time, and I thought Yarborough had gotten rid of the ball, but apparently he didn't like what he saw. He'd rather take a sack than get an interception.
Leading the team in sacks coming in tonight was Jeff Olson and Kenny Alexander with 4 apiece. Shotgun for McKinney Boyd, and Yarborough wants to throw, and he throws it right into the ground. He was trying to throw it out right side to Jeff Fuller and had second thoughts about throwing it, and when you do that sometimes, you halfway throw it, it just kind of slips out of your hands when you try to stop your throw, and that's what happened. It went straight to the turf.
Well, that was the antithesis of that return. 2 losses and an incomplete pass that basically went straight down into the turf.
And maybe, just maybe, Travis Yarborough can boot another 67-yarder here. I don't think he'll need to, actually, because they're at the 48. Yarborough barely gets this one off. It's a high, wobbly kick. Going to bounce at the 25. He gets another roll to the 15, inside the 15 to the 14-yard line. So North will start off way back in their own territory once again. And Jared says there's a flag down on the play. We'll have to check.
Block in the back. The streaker was running straight down the field, and he was, basically ready to stand right in front of the returner if he were to field that one. And as he was getting ready to stand, someone pushed him from behind. And anytime you see the punt return team behind the returner, and the returner goes flying forward, generally it's a block in the back.
The ball right now was initially killed at the 14-yard line, and we'll see what the penalty, what they do here, and it'll actually be backed up even further. So North is going to have to go quite a ways here. They started at their own 7 last time. Or that was actually 2 drives ago. They started at their own 7 and drove 93 yards for the score. They will start at their own 7 here once again.
So it's only a penalty of 7 yards.
8:48 on the second quarter clock. McKinney North up 21-0. And Herbal in shotgun, handoff. Chase Barrett back into the game. Running right tackle, escapes with one defender, trying to find this near corner, has the 10-yard line, and runs out of bounds at the 12. He never did go down. He basically just threw his shoulders at a couple of people, and they couldn't actually bring him down. He's ended up stepping out of bounds at the 13 they'll give him.
Well, nice gain of 6. Not his longest gain of the day, but it's definitely one of his more flashier runs because he broke 4 tackles on his way to being pushed out of bounds. He just ran out of field.
6 yards on the carry, 2nd and 4 Bulldogs.
And it'll be Blake Mooney coming to the near side, split out wide left. On that far side is David Douglas, and in the slot is Aaron Fuller. Herbal, of course, shotgun formation. Jeff Olson, the stand-up tight end, kind of an H-back. And Herbal is going to run the option and keep it 20. The 25-30, wide open lane, cuts it back inside, 45-50, 45-40, Herbal, 30, 25-20. This is not a running quarterback, but he's down inside the 15 to the 11-yard line. And I tell you what, Herbal found the open lane, and all he had to do is kind of wiggle out of a zigzag is what I was looking for, in and out of those defenders.
Well, Parker Belenius was the cornerback on that side, or Belenius, but he defended that like you should. Your cornerback is the one who's supposed to go up and take the pitch man. But the problem was there was no linebacker, no safety converging on Herbal, and he basically found a couple of holes, weaved his way through them, but it was basically just a sprint down the field.
And let me tell you, folks, Eric Herbal is not the fastest kid on the field by any stretch of the imagination, but he had such a gaping hole, and he did zigzag through and make those defenders miss all the way down.
64-yard gain, Monty.
All the way down to the 11. He went from the 13 down to the 11, and now with the penalty, the ball would be spotted at the 7-yard line.
Just an incidental face mask, by the way.
So Herbal will get the pitch, and he throws it to Jeff Olson, the tight end, who drops the football. It was right on the money. Olson was wide open for the touchdown, but he dropped it. And that's the first incompletion tonight for Eric Herbal.
And it's not his fault, really. I'm not sure what happened. I mean, sometimes, and I mean this sincerely, sometimes the hardest pass to catch is when you have your front facing the quarterback and it hits you in the numbers, because you can't use your hands as easily because it's just out of your range. If it was lower, it's more comfortable, and if it's higher, you're able to turn your hands the other way. Not to say that Olsen should not have caught that. Obviously, he should have.
Herbal hands off to Barrett, right up the middle, cuts it back inside. Did he get in?
Nope.
He's down at the 1-yard line. 7:52 left to go in the second quarter. McKinney North on top, 21-0. Knocking on the door here. The big play of this drive has been that huge Eric Herbal quarterback option run where he kept it and had that wide open gaping hole that he took advantage of. And the unfortunate thing is he threw a touchdown pass to Jeff Olson, who just basically dropped it. Looked like Algie Crumpler a couple of weeks ago on Monday Night Football. Everybody tight here for McKinney North. Chase Barrett moves to the left. He's going to get the handoff, running right tackle. Barrels his way to the end zone. It's touchdown time in Texas for Chase Barrett. And McKinney North on the board once again. 27-0 now in the second quarter. 7:17 left to go here in the second quarter. Awaiting this PAT, and they will actually kick it this time.
I need to issue a little correction. I said that Eric Herbal's run was 67. I miscalculated the penalty. It was actually 75.
A 75-yard run by Herbal. The extra point is good by Stephen Meyer. 28-0. McKinney North on top. 7:17 left to go in the second quarter. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Post Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms. 5 plays, 93 yards on the drive for McKinney North. Took a $1:31 off the clock. The big play was the 75-yard run by Eric Herbal on the quarterback option, but Chase Barrett went over from 1 yard out. Jeff Olson dropped the touchdown, but Chase Barrett picked it right back up and said, hey, I'll score it. 28-0, McKinney North on top of McKinney Boyd here with 7:17 left to go here in the second quarter. And North is about to boot this one away. Standing deep for McKinney Boyd is A.J. Jones and Jeff Fuller, standing at their own 5-yard line. And faking that quail onside this time is McKinney North. Stephen Meyer going to tee it up here and boot this one away. And Meyer will put the foot into it, and he kicked it out of bounds again.
This time it landed straight.
This one was not just one of those that landed in fair territory and rolled out of bounds. This one wasn't too far from the track.
Well, and it's so weird because he's a pretty accurate kicker from the field in terms of field goals, but he seems to be struggling just a little bit on these kickoffs.
Well, it seems to be getting a little worse, and that's one thing about a kicker. It's so mental. It's like shooting free throws. Once you get out of rhythm, it's hard to get back in that rhythm, and Stephen Meyer right now on his kickoffs is kind of out of that rhythm.
Well, I'm not sure if it's rhythm or if he's just struggling. You can say what you will about kicking, but sometimes every now and then it's just a little bit of a struggle, especially on kickoffs.
I think it's, being a former kicker, it's just like shooting free throws. When you get out of that little rhythm, there's just something about it. It's a mental situation that you have to overcome, and it's more evident with field goals than it is on kickoffs, obviously, but it can happen on kickoffs as well.
And sometimes you start to overthink it, and then that makes it even worse.
Here is Meyer, who kicks a high pooch kick, going to be taken by Blake Little at the 40-yard line, crosses the field, reverses field, and thrown down, dragged down, and maybe a little extracurricular activity there.
There he goes. That's going to be a 15. It looked like he headbutted him. I think he was just in excitement. I don't think it was intentional. Or slammed him to the ground is what Jared saw.
Zach Gagnon was the man who did that.
Yeah,
and he's the person who's going to be penalized for that. He really made a nice play, but he took it a little bit too far.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing is you have to keep your emotions in check. And sometimes in today's football, the glitz and glamour side comes through. Especially you see it at the higher level, and then it kind of filters down. I saw the refs in the huddle. Then we got an offsides number 1, and then we got a dead ball personal foul number 2. So either way, wow. And kickoffs again. Probably the weakest link so far for the Bulldogs, but I saw one of the officials in there, he made a motion of putting his head forward like he was saying it might have been a headbutt.
Sometimes you can come into games like this where you're obviously favored by a lot, and you can come in a little flat. And McKinney North may have come in a little flat tonight, even though they lead 28-0.
Yeah, let's put it in perspective. The offense has looked really good. The defense, for the most part, has looked really good. Special teams has lacked some. Jeff Fuller's kickoff return, last kickoff, I suppose.
And here is McKinney Boyd at their McKinney North 42-yard line, and they're going to toss right side. Nate Hill gets the toss, going to that far corner, cuts it inside, and barely gets back to the line of scrimmage. If he does, it might be another loss for Nate Hill, who has seemed to have done that several times in a row now.
Well, that's his 5th carry, and it looks like he did lose the yard, so he's now down to -3. But, again, he didn't get help there. Travis Yarbrough on the pitch. I think one of the linemen either stepped on his foot or tripped him up anyway, but he started falling, and on that play, a quarterback is one of your blockers. Not saying that Travis Yarbrough is an all-world blocker, but having more blue out there sure helps.
Second down and 11 for McKinney Boyd. 6:27 left to go here in the second quarter. McKinney North on top, 28-0. I formation. Yarbrough is going to hand off Nate Hill running left side. And he stiff arms Kenny McGowan trying to fight out, but he can't do it. And another loss by Nate Hill back at the 45-yard line. Nate Hill has not had a run of positive yardage in quite some time.
It was his first carry, and that was his 6th. So the last 5 is lost yardage. Meanwhile, you have A.J. Jones, who, when they run the play, reverses field, which is, dangerous in his own right, but he's been able to gain 35 yards on 4 carries.
Well, the difference is A.J. Jones has tremendous speed to get out to the far side. Nate Hill, more of a bruising back, is having trouble getting to the line of scrimmage.
And it's hard to outbruise this defense.
3rd down and 12 for McKinney Boyd. Yarbrough wants to pass, throws it out right side. Fuller threw it to the wrong side of his shoulder, and incomplete. That was off the mark. It'll be 4th down and 12 with 5:34 left to go in the second quarter. North on top, 28-0. Let's check down with John Lighty. Do you have any updates on what happened with the personal foul and all of that information?
Guys, everybody's just getting a hot head down here, and it's just kind of boiling over a little bit. I'm not sure on that last personal foul exactly what happened.
But we do know that no one was ejected. Punt formation for McKinney Boyd as Yarborough will punt this one away, trying to find the corner there. Bounces, and he doesn't get that roll this time. It's going to be killed at the 21-yard line. So still putting McKinney North deep in their own territory at the 21-yard line. But all that means recently is that McKinney North will go 79 yards instead of 93.
Well, let's look back at the stat ledger here. Nope, no punts. No turnovers. They have scored on all 4 of their possessions.
McKinney North is the second-rated offense in the area behind, guess who, Highland Park in Class 4A. And McKinney North is also 5th in defense, which is probably the story of 2006 for McKinney North, because North has never been a program that has been involved with defense at all up until this point.
And their offense has always been good.
Herbal passes over to Brandon Dunn, who makes the catch. That's Parker, rather, 30, 35, 40, 45, and tripped up before he could get to the midfield stripe. And out of bounds will go. No, that is Brandon Dunn. I had it right to begin with. So a first down for McKinney North near midfield. A nice gainer there on first down.
Well, 26 yards to Dunn. And it just keeps going.
So it'll be 1st and 10 shy of midfield at the 47-yard line. 5:17 left to go, second quarter. McKinney North on top, 28-0. 2 receivers to the right side, 1 to the left, along with the H-back / tight end, Jeff Olson. Barrett will not get the handoff. It's going to be Brandon Dunn again in the slot. 50, 45, cuts it inside 40, cuts it outside 35, 30, jumps over one defender down to the 26-yard line. He absolutely jumped right over Chris Garrison. It was like he used Chris Garrison as a hurdle, and he had perfect hurdler's form even as he went over him down inside the 25-yard line to the 23 in Boyd territory.
Well, that was a gain of, too quick to do the math here, 30.
So basically in 2 plays rather, they have gone from the 21 down to the 23. From one side to the other. Herbal shotgun, and McKinney Boyd jumps offside. That's Justin Cordova, and yes, he is not out of the game. Cordova jumped off sides there for McKinney Boyd. So that'll be encroachment against the Boyd Broncos, and it'll be 1st and 5 for McKinney North. They'll move it on down to the 18-yard line. Clock winds at 4:43. Scores to pass along. Of course, last night, McKinney losing to Little Elm 28-0. We do have Hillcrest over Lincoln 7-0. Wichita Falls over Sherman 14-7. And if you didn't see that Denison-Denton game last night, shame on you. That was a great one. This is Herbal under pressure. Throws it down in the end zone, and guess who catches it? Blake Mooney, the prolific touchdown receiver for McKinney North, hauls this one in, and it's touchdown time in Texas for McKinney North. Mooney will catch his 12th touchdown of the year.
Well, that's 195 yards passing for Herbal. 10 of 11. His second touchdown.
And he would be perfect if it weren't for that drop in the end zone by Jeff Olson.
Well, if you want to take it a step further, let's give him credit for what could have been 3 touchdowns instead of 2. You mentioned earlier that all Blake Mooney does is catch touchdowns. That's all he's done today. His one catch was there for a touchdown. Call him Chris Carter, if you will.
Here's Meyer for the extra point. It's up, and it's true. 35-0, 4:19 left to go in the second quarter. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. 3 plays, 79 yards for McKinney North, capped off by an 18-yard touchdown from Eric Herbal to the man who only catches touchdowns, Blake Mooney, his 12th touchdown of the year. And that brings our new score 35-0, McKinney North on top. 4:19 left to go before half, and it's been all North as we all expected.
Yeah. And even still, it's been I think we expected North to be up pretty big, but they've been able to do what they wanted on offense, and they've been able to, for the most part, stop Boyd on offense.
Here's Myers' kickoff. It's going to be taken at the 2-yard line by Jeff Fuller. Makes his way up to the 15, 20. He's got a full head of steam and barrels his way across the 30 to the 32-yard line. He was not thinking about changing directions that time. He turned on the afterburners and barreled over a couple of McKinney North Bulldogs, including Dennis Craig. So a nice return by Jeff Fuller, and the McKinney Boyd Broncos will start at their own 32-yard line with 4:12 left to go before half. Scores to pass along. If you're interested in District 9 4A, you're probably interested in District 10 4A in Highland Park in a dogfight with Richardson Pierce, 14-13. And that one is in the second quarter. We talked about the Denison game. We haven't yet talked about the Denison game. We will maybe at half. We'll go over that recap. What a game that was. And Nate Hill gets the toss, cuts it back inside, going to gain 6, 7, maybe 8 yards, probably more close to 7, as they'll spot him down at the 37-yard line. And I'm telling you guys, the Denton game last night over at Collins Complex was just remarkable. It came down to the last 15 seconds, and a kid from Denison, a junior kicker, 15 years old, nails a 47-yard field goal to win the game, the only time Denison was up at any point in that football game, and they win it 37-35. Just probably one of the best games I've ever listened to on radio. And I know there's a lot of high school football radio junkies out there, and if you missed that one, shame on you. Here's Nate Hill getting the reverse. That's Fuller, actually, and he's going to be caught behind the line of scrimmage. McKinney North sniffed that one out, and a big loss. Ruben Gonzalez having the game of his life tonight, coming back and making the stop there. It'll be third down and a truckload with 3:12 left to go before half.
It's fitting. On his 7th carry, Nate Hill gets the first positive yards he's had since the first carry. But then on the very next play, they try a trick play, and they lose everything Nate gained on that first down.
Yeah, Jeff Fuller on the reverse. It didn't happen there. Third down and 10. Under 3 minutes now. Again, North on top, 35-0. I formation for McKinney Boyd. And Yarborough has trouble with the snap. It's on the turf. McKinney North says they have it. The back judge says no, and now he says yes. McKinney North has the football. They'll take over at the 31-yard line, 31 yards away from another score, and Colton Floyd comes up with the fumble.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it was just a fumbled snap exchange. And that can sometimes result when you're doing what Boyd's doing in this situation, and that's funneling your two quarterbacks around. You know, you had Philip Sears starting the game, and now in this case you had Travis Yarbrough taking snaps. It's two different people, and therefore you got to have kind of two different chemistries.
Colton Floyd came into the game with 45 tackles. Number 45 has 45 tackles. Colt 45. Also 3 sacks and an interception. Gives the ball to McKinney North. 2:43 on the clock here. Herbal in shotgun formation. Fruit Cole stands next to him. 5-step drop for Herbal. Throwing it down the field. Has Parker, and it's almost intercepted. It's incomplete. But I'm telling you what, it was Chris Garrison, I believe, who had the ball go in and out of his hands.
It should have been intercepted.
And it was the first really bad pass we've seen tonight from Herbal.
Yeah. He was telegraphing his pass the whole way. And if you have to find one thing, I think, where you might maybe exploit Eric Herbal, is the fact that he'll look his receiver a little bit too much. You know, like if you ever watch an out between him and David Douglas, he'll stare at David the whole time. And if a quarterback or a cornerback or a safety man's watching that, they'll be able to step in front of that one. And in this situation, he was looking at the receiver the entire time down the field, and there were 3 defenders there ready for it.
Second down and 10. Olson goes in motion from left to right. Handoff, Root Cole running right. Over right tackle, barrels his head, makes his way down. A flag down at the end of that play. On the tackle for Boyd was Jamel Minor. We'll have to sort out the flag here.
Well, I thought it was an unintentional face mask, but the referee says it was a hold.
Cole made his way down to the 27-yard line, and that's exactly where the flag rests. And they're going to move this one on back, so it's a spot foul. And they'll place the ball at the 37-yard line. So the hold must have came right at the end of that play. I mean, exactly at the end of that play.
Well, there was a blocker engaged that was engaging a Bronco defender, so it's quite possible could have happened right there.
Blake Mooney comes to the near side. And David Douglas split out wide right. It'll be Aaron Fuller in the slot. Fruit Cole in the backfield along with Eric Herbal. Jeff Olson, the H-back. And Herbal wants the snap. He gets it. He wants to throw. Fires it to his slot receiver, Fuller, who makes the catch. But his knee was on the ground when he made the catch. So he had a lot of room to run, but his knee accidentally touched the turf. He had to go down and get it. So they'll mark him down there at the 28-yard line. This is not the NFL. You can't get up and run.
Well, that pass puts Eric Herbal over 200 yards passing now.
Inside 2 minutes now. 3rd down and 7 for North. Moving left to right. Mooney comes near side. Herbal is going to drop back 3 steps, looking left side, throws it over. It's caught by Douglas. First down inside the 15 down to the 10-yard line. So a first down for McKinney North as they keep moving the sticks. $1:40 on the clock as it goes out of bounds, and they have to move the sticks.
15 yards on the play. 1st and 10 Bulldogs.
They'll actually spot the ball at the 13. So give him a gain of 15 right there. And it'll be 1st and 10. They can actually get a first down inside the 5 at the 3-yard line. So we'll see what North plans to do here as Mooney, Mr. Touchdown, will come to the near side, split out wide right. Of course, David Douglas split left. Fruit Cole in the backfield replacing Chase Barrett for the moment. And offsides McKinney North as this big tackle Daniel Holt was off and firing before the snap count.
Well, we know it's going to be a run because the offensive lineman started right away. Hey, Monty, on that last play to Douglas, that puts Eric Herbal at 220 yards passing. If you want to add his run, he's 5 yards shy of 300 total yards for the half.
Wow. 200 total yards passing will take him to 958 on the season. Here's a handoff to Fruit Cole, and he's gang tackled and going nowhere. Look at all those blue uniforms by McKinney Boyd as they celebrate a nice play there by taking Fruit Cole in the backfield. It'll be 2nd down and long for North, $1:23 and rolling here in the second quarter.
Well, gain of none for Fruit. He's still 1 yard shy of trying to get that 50-yard mark. But there'll be a timeout McKinney as they'll think about what to do on the 2nd and 15.
We'll take 1-2 with $1:21 left to go in the second quarter. 35-0 North on top. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. 2nd down and 15 for McKinney North at Ron Post Stadium. North against Boyd, the two MISD schools, and North way out on top here with $1:21 left to go before the half. Herbal will stand in shotgun formation. North has the ball moving left to right at the Boyd 15-yard line. 2nd down and 15. Low snap. Herbal digs it out, throws it left side to Jeff Olson, the tight end, inside the 10 to the 5, barreling his way into the end zone, and they're going to mark him out. They're going to say he stepped out at the 4-yard line. Olson trying to make up for the touchdown that he dropped earlier, wanted to fight his way into that one, and he really almost took out everybody standing in his way.
Well, that pass play finally did it. Eric Herbal now over 300 total yards of offense just in the first half.
They'll mark the ball at the 4-yard line, so give Herbal and Olson 14 yards on the play. It'll bring up 3rd and 1. I told you earlier that they can pick up a first down at the 3-yard line. They need 1 yard to do it. 3rd and 1. Chase Barrett into the game. They're going to hand off to him, running right tackle. Has the first down and more, and he has the touchdown. It is touchdown time in Texas for Chase Barrett and McKinney North. And that'll bring our score 41-0 with $1:08 left to go before the half, awaiting the PAT. So it's all North, and we knew it would be It's just to what extent. And obviously these two head coaches know each other very well. They're very good friends, and one doesn't want to run the score up on the other one, but you also can't tell your kids not to play either. Stephen Meyer will come in for the extra point. High snap. McGowan does a great job of bringing that one down, and it's good. 42-0. 1:08 left to go in the second quarter. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. McKinney North off and rolling tonight for, let's see, that was actually 7 plays, 69 yards on that drive, and it was capped off by a 4-yard touchdown by Chase Barrett. 42-0 North on top of McKinney Boyd, the little brother, and it took a minute 31 off the clock on that drive.
What do you think the chances are of these guys seeing action in the second half with the 42-0 score?
I don't think you'll see much of any of the starters.
That'd be my bet.
I don't believe you'll see Eric Herbal at all in the second half, or Chase Barrett, or maybe Mooney and Douglas, depending on the depth situation. Here's the kickoff by Meyer. It's a low line drive kick, going to be taken by A.J. Jones right at the chest at the 3-yard line. And he's going to spin his way out of a tackle, reverse direction again, reverses a couple of more times up to the 22-yard line. A.J. Jones with those quick feet seems to be very slippery. Under a minute now here left in the second half. Denton Ryan over Denton Geyer, 43-0. And right here, it's 42-0.
Well, it's nice to know we don't have the biggest blowout of the night.
And McKinney North over McKinney Boyd here, 42-0. So that's another.
Yeah, it's exact same situation.
It's exact same scenario. Denton Ryan, who was a new school just several years ago, went through the growing pains and became champions and this and that.
Well, they're obviously a little older than North, but
and then open. Here's a flag on the play before this one could get underway, and then Denton Geyer, who just opened. Of course, those are inter-city rivalries, and Geyer taking it on the chin early on in their program. And it's the same scenario as what we have here tonight. Exact same scenario. And McKinney Boyd's actually holding a little bit stronger than Denton Geyer is, apparently.
Yeah, by a point. Well, that penalty against
45-13 now. We get a Highland Park and Richardson Pierce score. We got a 21-7 Wichita Falls over Sherman score also.
And that penalty was against North.
It's going to be a handoff up the middle, and that's Nate Hill up to the 30-yard line. So close to a first down, but it's going to be a couple of yards short. Inside 45 seconds now as the clock's rolling here in the second quarter. 42-0 McKinney North on top. Ball will be placed at the 30-yard line for Boyd.
Second down, Broncos.
And they're taking their time here right before the half. Not in a hurry at all, under 30 seconds. They walk to the line of scrimmage. Travis Yarborough, the quarterback with I formation, Zach Jones and Nate Hill in the backfield. Yarborough wants to throw it. He's under pressure. He can't escape the tackle of Brett Davis. And Brett Davis comes up with his first sack of the night, I believe. I think that's going to be ruled a sack.
Yeah. Well, he started to run, so it's likely going to be just a rush.
That'll be his second sack of the year, and that is the end of the second quarter. 42-0. McKinney North in a rout here tonight over McKinney Boyd. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. You were a part of that game with Lorenzo Jones and that he got kicked out against Hebron. Do you actually have to go to the locker room? What's the situation with that?
I mean, after that play, when we all came into the locker room, everybody was all hyped up, real excited because, I mean, by then it was still a close game. Coaches still got on to him about reacting the way he did to I don't remember exactly what happened, what made him act that way.
Well, it was a kid named Stephen Harris, the defensive back from Hebron. I don't know why his name stands out to me, but they got in a little scuffle right down here about the 40-yard line as they were running off the half. It was but go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt there.
No, I mean, coaches got on to him, but they talked to him and stuff. They really liked our excitement, too, coming out of halftime, and that was – losing him really put a hole in our defensive line there because our backup wasn't nearly as strong as he was.
Well,
So
not many kids are as strong as Lorenzo Jones.
Yep. So,
do you keep up with him and maybe some other guys that are playing college ball?
I haven't really been keeping up with it. I saw him play a couple times whenever TCU played Tech, and last year I saw him play a couple times, but not really that much.
So list off the lines that are playing college ball that you can think of. Obviously, your brother's playing a little, isn't he?
My older brother is, yes.
Right.
And James Arnold from my older brother's class, he's at Hardin-Simmons, I believe. And then from our class, it's Lorenzo Jones. Stephen Arnold's up at Arkansas. And can't really think of many off the top of my head. I know Luke Swadley was talking about walking on a team at Southeastern next semester. I was talking to him about that because if he does that, I'll be walking on at Midwestern, and those are two schools in the same conference.
You know, is Austin College a part of? They're not a part of that, though, are they? They're
No,
not in the same conference.
They're Division III.
Because I think Brett Anderson is playing up at Austin College.
Yep.
You know, you see with Friday Night Lights, the movie, the series. It's been 15 years since I've played football. Has it changed a whole lot? Is it is it similar to those type of things that you see in the movies and the halftime speeches? Do they actually give the halftime speeches like that?
I wouldn't say exactly like that. It's some of those movies are a little dramatic when it comes to that. But there are times in real close games and stuff where it gets to that level, but not as often.
The one thing that my complaint about the Friday nights, the series that's on TV, I don't know if you've seen that or not, but the one complaint that I have is the fact that there are so many end-over-end flip tackles, for Hollywood. It just isn't like that out there.
No.
There's a lot of good hard hits, but it's not like that on every play. Plus, the one critique that I have about that TV show is the fact that I believe they're the Panthers, and they have the P on their helmet for the mascot name and not the city name, which is kind of strange. You wouldn't see McKinney Boyd having a B on their helmet for Broncos. No, they have the M for McKinney, and every city is like that, except in the TV series Friday Night Lights. Well, we want to say thanks to Jared Foyt for spotting for us. It's 42-0 at Ron Poe Stadium, McKinney North on top of McKinney Boyd. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Yeah. Welcome back to Ron Poe Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms. And I tell you what, it's been a rout so far tonight. McKinney North usually does a lot of their scoring in the second quarter. Coming into tonight, 110 points out of 271 came in the second quarter, and 29 of them coming tonight in the second quarter, 13 in the first.
Yeah, when I was listening to highlights, you're like 13-0 at the end of the half. I did a double take on the scoreboard and just went, good Lord.
Yeah, the second quarter is when North has a coming out party, and they did tonight. It's 42-0. They average 45-8 by outscoring their opponents in a game. So they're on pace probably to go on top of that a little bit tonight. Last week, McKinney North scored 55.
Well, what is that, 13-point differential now? Yeah. I think they'll probably get 2 touchdowns.
55-16 last week over Frisco Centennial, who is losing right now to Frisco 10-3 at the half. Again, last night, Little Elm over McKinney 28-20. We're looking for the Colony and Lake Dallas score. Sherman is losing to Wichita Falls 21-10. We have South Lake Carroll over Justin Northwest 24-7. Hillcrest over Lincoln 7-0. The last score we have there. Denton Ryan over Denton Geyer 43-0. Highland Park over Pierce 45-13. Allen over Plano West 23-6. Wiley upending Plano 9-3. Sounds like a baseball score. Berkner losing to Plano East tonight 21-7. And West Mesquite over Mesquite Poteet 21-7. So lots of good games going on in the North Dallas area. And I tell you what, we were talking about, I was talking to Chuck Kelly earlier in the week. He called me and asked me about Justin Northwest. And you'll remember that Drew Ashley kid that was a sophomore last year was just tremendous. And he was asking me, hey, is this kid the real deal? Yeah, he's pretty much the real deal over there. But unfortunately, they're losing to Highland Park. No, actually, they're losing to South Lake Carroll 24-7. For some reason, I had it in my brain that Chuck Kelly was still doing Highland Park games. 42-0 here. McKinney North over McKinney Boyd. They're about to come back on the field. We'll take one more 1-minute break. We'll be back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Poe Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms, John Leidy, and Jared Foyt up in the booth with us. John, you're down on the sidelines. Have you got anything down there for us?
Yeah, guys, the McKinney North Bulldogs came out very excited coming out at halftime here. I'm also expecting.
Well, they ought to. They're up 42-0, John.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't imagine.
You got to be happy about that. I'm anticipating that a lot of these, not really, second team and future McKinney North Bulldogs will get a chance to play here in the second half, and Coach Pratt will get a chance to view their progress.
You know, and that's a good point, John. There will be a lot of new players on the field in this second half, and it is a good chance for Coach Sean Pratt to figure out what he's got coming up next year.
Monty, I'm not sure if John's quite earning his pay because he hasn't done a whole lot of investigative reporting these last couple of games. I mean, I don't know what we're going to investigate him or have him report investigatively, but I hadn't done anything in a while.
Well, I think he's doing a fine job.
I don't know. He hadn't uncovered anything major hard hitting lately. I'm just saying. That's all.
You can set him up for something. Go ahead.
No, that's not my job. My job is to comment and things like that. It's John's job to find stuff to uncover.
Well, there's no tent down in the far end zone, so I don't know exactly what he would do as investigating down there. John, you might work on something there, though. You might look down.
I'm going to work at it.
You know what? He hadn't hugged a mascot in a while.
I'll do that.
Let's not. Here's the fake onside by McKinney North. Stephen Meyer is going to boot this one away from the 40-yard line. And let's see if Stephen Meyer can kick this one in bounds here. Lake Highlands over Richardson, 28-0 a score that we had. And here's Meyer's kick. It's going to be a high kick, going to be taken by Jeff Fuller at the 3-yard line. Fuller has it, crosses the 10, crosses he's reversing field once again. This time he's trapped behind the line, behind where his forward progress got him, and he'll go back to the 15-yard line. And we'll see where they actually spot it here, and they will spot it back at the 15-yard line, so that's where McKinney Boyd will set up shop and have 1st and 10 with 11:50 left to go in the third, Brandon.
And that illustrates why reversing the field is bad. Okay, what he was doing, he came up and he had 2 wedge blockers in front of him, but they were engaged on one guy, so he tried to reverse his field. But like you'll see very often with Boyd, especially on the defensive side, but even to a lesser extent on special teams, they were there in pursuit, and when he tried to bounce it out, he lost about 5 yards.
1st and 10. This is Travis Yarbrough, the quarterback, goes under center, I formation, toss left side, fumble, but he picks it up. The running back dropped it for a second, but picked it right back up, and that's A.J. Jones on the carry.
Well, he got a fortunate bounce that basically went right to him. In fact, he even gained a yard on the play. I mean, I don't think they'll try to run that play again, but it didn't at least turn out all bad.
It'll be 2nd down and 9 here, as I formation once again. Fuller split out wide right. Yarbrough will go under center here, and he will fumble the snap. He's trying to pick it up. 3 Bulldogs are right there. They all say they have it, and McKinney North is running off the field. Mike Smith comes up with this fumble, and he and Colton Floyd each have one now tonight. The linebackers working side by side here, and North will take over at the Boyd 16-yard line.
Well, that's the second time that Yarbrough's fumbled, and like Floyd did on the first time, he was basically been able just to hop on it. And, I mean, the center-to-quarterback exchange is the most basic in the game. You have to do it every play minus special teams. But they're just not on the same page, and it's not like that's the first time Boyd does it. But then again, that might be something to expect with a first-year team, guys who've never played together before.
Well, Herbal is still in the game, and he's going to hand off to Chase Barrett, running left guard, cuts it back inside, and he just rolls easily into the end zone. Touchdown, McKinney North. It's touchdown time in Texas, 48-0. 48-0, McKinney North in the lead. After that 16-yard Chase Barrett touchdown.
He's carried the ball 11 times, 70 yards, 11 carries total, and 4 of those have been for touchdown runs. That's a pretty good ratio.
One play, 16-yard drive. And they'll kick the extra point here. It took 7 seconds off the clock, and there's your scoring drive recap.
That was lengthy.
One play, 16 yards, 7 seconds.
Nice cutback by Barrett on that play.
That was a nice run. McGowan gets the high snap down, and they kick it through. Myers' kick is good. 49-0 now on the scoreboard. 10:57 left to go in the third quarter. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. One play, 16 yards, 7 seconds off the clock. Chase Barrett ran it in, and McKinney North is now up 49-0 over McKinney Boyd, and they're kicking little brother right in the teeth tonight. 10:57 left to go in the third quarter, and North is going to fake the onside kick here.
Well, so much for the starters.
Yeah, we thought the starters might be out in the second half, but Herbal and Barrett and the
they just
rest
want
of
to
the
make
crew
sure that the game's in
hand,
control before they sit the starters.
I think it's in hand at this point, and Meyer is going to boot this one away to Jeff Fuller once again. And they switched sides, actually, and it was going towards A.J. Jones, and it was kicked right over his head. A great kick by Meyer, who looks like he's got things on track now.
Well, that's the second kickoff that's been pretty long and pretty straight down the field. So, sometimes you just miss. Well, if they happen to be a string in a row.
Well, he's getting enough practice tonight, that's for sure.
Okay, let's see. 7 touchdowns now?
7 touchdowns.
So that'd be 8 kickoffs?
3 of them have gone out of bounds. Am I right?
That's true, yeah. So he's got 11. Now 11.
11 times he's teed it up. Frisco on top of Frisco Centennial 7-0 is the score that we have. A score that is on the scoreboard, actually. But, yeah, we told you a moment ago we have a new score, 10-3, Frisco on top of Centennial. Here's the option play. It's going to be out to A.J. Jones. He's quick, 30, 35, look out, 40. Down the sideline, and he's pushed out of bounds at the 44-yard line. A.J. Jones, when he turns on the boosters, can really fly, and on the stop was Martin Holmes from McKinney North.
Right now we're just looking for anything to get Boyd moving in the right direction.
The ball's going to be marked at the 47-yard line, just shy of midfield. It'll be the second possession of the half for McKinney Boyd, who only had it 1 play, or 2 plays actually earlier before they fumbled it away. Yarborough put it on the turf. McKinney North recovered, went 16 yards into the end zone, and here we are with Boyd's second possession of the half. Shotgun formation, handoff A.J. Jones up the middle, and he's corralled at the line of scrimmage. Give him 1 yard to the 48-yard line, and that'll bring up second down and 9.
Well, believe it or not, Jones with a nice, especially after that run, 64 yards on just 7 carries. I mean, a long run will do that, but that's not his only long run of the game.
Kyle Dancy into the game at cornerback for McKinney North. Martin Holmes, we mentioned a moment ago, a new set of linebackers. Here's the option by Sears, and he options it out to A.J. Jones, reverses field again, and he's going to be dragged down after a little gain. He did cross the midfield stripe into McKinney North territory at the 49-yard line, but it's going to be 3rd and long. And you can hear the McKinney Boyd band as they just showed up right in front of the stands here, right in front of us.
Yeah, kind of an odd selection to play, the school song when they're just driving.
Well, that's the fight song for McKinney Boyd.
Well, right. We usually do that after a touchdown, not after a 3-yard gain.
Well, they've got to get some practice in sometime, Brandon.
You do that during the school week. No, but on that play, it was a simple pitch, and that's why Jones is quick. The way he likes to quickly just go to the reverse, although we have a penalty that we just now figured out is a legal procedure penalty that was declined. We'll take the play. But anyway, on the option, he was already 2 yards beyond the line of scrimmage, and he decided to cut back. Well, by that time, pursuit's there. I mean, it's not just backside pursuit. It is already there. And so he tried to make it, and he ended up getting nothing, and he might have actually lost a yard in trying to reverse his field. Granted, what's the difference between 2 or 3?
They're down at 6 for McKinney Boyd.
What's going on, Chuckles?
I don't know. Shotgun for Sears. Looks over to the left side and throws this one incomplete. Trying to find Blake Little. Brandon Dunn in coverage along with Kyle Dancy. The ball falls incomplete, and it'll be 4th down. I was thinking about the fight song there. You know, the kids, they have to learn the fight song. You know, I did hear of one school that they didn't score all year, and then when they scored the touchdown, I believe it was a team up north. Anyway, when they actually finally scored, they didn't know how to play the fight song.
That makes sense.
Here's the punt by Yarborough. It's a high wobbler. It's going to land as a short punt. It's going to land out of bounds at the 35-yard line in McKinney North territory, so no chance to return it. But a flag down right at the line of scrimmage, and Kenny McGowan is looking at the official with his palms in the air.
Well, it's a personal foul.
And it is against North, so that will be a 1st down for Boyd.
Well, the lucky thing about that for the Broncos is it wasn't a post-possession foul. It happened during the course, so that means they get to keep possession and actually will move 15 yards ahead. Right now, between kickoffs from the first half and penalties, those are your two biggest weaknesses right now for the Bulldogs. They're not doing too well in either category. Well, listen to that crowd. It's quiet. It's almost like we're amongst ourselves.
Well, I told you there were a couple of new linebackers into the football game for McKinney North, Rodney Nelson being one and Nick Coates the other coming in for McKinney North. This will be a one-back set for McKinney Boyd as Phillip Sears will go under center now. And he's going to toss right side. A.J. Jones puts it on the turf. I believe he got back on it. Rashad Robinson was right there. If Jones didn't fall on it, Robinson would have had it. But I believe Jones got back on it, and he did. But that'll be a big loss for Boyd. Way back to the 42-yard line.
Loss of 19. Or not 19, I'm sorry, 9. That'd be big. That'd be even worse. I mean, it's still bad, but yeah, only 9. It's 2nd and 19.
Jeff Fuller split out wide right, and Sears is going to run that way. Toss the option out to Nate Hill, who lowers his shoulder and has positive yardage to the 38-yard line. So that'll bring up 3rd and long for McKinney Boyd. 8:38 left to go in the 3rd quarter. McKinney North on top, 49-0. Again, new players on defense a little bit. Now Colton Floyd is back into the football game. Old Colt 45.
He's had a pretty solid game, a fumble recovery, and he's made a few tackles.
Has had a good game, as well as several other. And now Sears is under pressure. Ruben Gonzalez has had a great game as well. He's not going to get credit for the sack. Rashad Robinson is. All the way back to Boyd territory to the 47-yard line. But Ruben Gonzalez, really give him credit. He's the one who really flushed Sears out of that pocket. But Rashad Robinson was right there to take credit for the sack. And that'll bring up 4th down and punt time once again for McKinney Boyd. All the way back at the 47-yard line.
Well,
and Yarborough will stand at his own 34.
Sorry, Monty, they lost 19 yards in those 3 plays.
Brandon Dunn will stand at his own 36, or 26 rather, and he's going to take the punt, and he crosses the 40. 45-50, cuts it back inside, and is met by several Broncos right at the 48-yard line inside Boyd territory. So it'll be 1st and 10 for McKinney North, moving left to right with 7:19 left to go in the 3rd quarter, 48 yards away from the end zone. And we'll see who comes in now for the offensive unit. I see Charles Cole, a.k.a. Fruit. Some others standing there in that offensive unit are Houston Beasley, who normally is starting. Colton Duncan. Looks like he's coming out on the field. Kenny McGowan will play some offense now at wide receiver. McGowan was a big receiver his sophomore year. He actually had 21 catches for 337 yards and 2 touchdowns his sophomore year, but has only had 3 catches since. This is going to be Stanko. Hands off to Farouk Cole, who gains some yardage out to the 44-yard line. So give him about 4 yards there on first down. And it'll be second down and 6. 7:03 left to go in the third quarter. Yep, the third quarter at Ron Poe Stadium.
Run, run, run. That's the best advice I can give right now.
Kenny McGowan split out wide right. And Stanko, the quarterback, is going to throw it in the slot, and he has his man caught at the 40 and makes his way down to the 36-yard line. And on the catch is Alex Parker for McKinney North. Parker on the season, 3 catches for 22 yards. He has his 4th catch right there. And that was really just a little quick hitter in the slot. He made one tackler miss and then couldn't escape another one down to the 36. Again, 49-0. McKinney North on top, 6:31 left to go in the third quarter. All new faces in for McKinney North. Sims is actually in at split left. It's going to be a handoff. Farouk Cole running left tackle. 35-30, 25-20. Look out. He could be gone. 10-5. And it's going to be very close. I believe he hit the pylon, and they're going to say no, he's out at the 2-yard line. Farouk Cole, almost his second touchdown of the night. They'll mark it right at the 2, however, with 6:08 left to go in the third.
$35-yard gain. He's now up to 87 for the game.
Farouk Cole having a nice night.
And keep in mind, not all that yardage is junk time, because he relieved Chase Barrett for a series or 2.
Marquise Millard Sims split out wide left. Kenny McGowan split out wide right. Alex Parker in the slot. Aaron Mathers, the H-back. Stanko gets it. Flags will fly before this one could get underway. They'll probably back this one up a little bit. Lamar Peoples will check in for McKinney Boyd. And checking out will be Matt Morton, the strong safety. So some backups coming in for Boyd as well. Chris Thornton still playing the cornerback for Boyd. But lots of new faces for McKinney North. 49-0, 6:07 left to go in the third quarter. North obviously on top. No shocker here. There was no... You thought about some upsets. You know, it's the greatest upsets of all time, and it was not going to happen tonight. And Boyd has really showed no signs of life. That's due to the strong McKinney North defense. Here is a touchdown that's dropped by Kenny McGowan. It was a low throw, but McGowan couldn't dig it out.
Well, and there was good coverage on that side by Chris Thornton. And he's playing pretty tight.
So now it'll bring up second and goal from the 7. And Stanko's showing a pretty good arm back there.
He's not bad especially when you consider the fact that he is a sophomore.
He is a 6'3", 170-pound sophomore. Came into the game 4 out of 7 for 17 yards, no interceptions and no touchdowns. And he'll stand in shotgun formation with Cole standing to his left. And he's going to hand off to Cole, who moves left, and he's caught behind the line of scrimmage, reverses field. I've seen more of those tonight than ever before. Yeah. Cole still coming to the near side, and he's into the end zone. It's touchdown time in Texas for Farouk Cole.
Wow.
What a run by Cole.
Now 7 yards. His second touchdown of the night. Puts him 6 yards shy of 100 for the game. Can't ask for much more than that. No. Especially considering he's your backup.
Yeah. He's a very stocky individual, not a tall young man.
He's got quickness, maybe not speed, but right. He's definitely very quick.
McGowan will stay in to hold for the extra point. And a new kicker into the game as well. And he will boot this one through, and it's very good. The new kicker, Alex Sharif, boots that one through, the 5'10", 170-pound senior. And it's 56-0, 5:52 left to go in the third quarter. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Post Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms. It is 56-0. McKinney North on top. Last score was a 7-yard touchdown by Fruit Cole, which ended a 6-play, 48-yard drive. And like I said, 56-0. North on top. They will be going to 7-0. And I remember
you can't say that yet. The game's not over.
Well, I remember it wasn't too long ago. We had a coaches show at a local restaurant in town, and McKinney North was 0-8. And, it was really tough coming up with questions for Coach Sean Pratt, thinking, well, maybe next week. But, and they did finally, when they inserted Eric Herbel, the sophomore quarterback, they ended up getting 2 wins to end that season. Here's the kickoff by McKinney North. It's going to go in the end zone and it's going to be a touchback. So McKinney Boyd will have the ball at the 20-yard line. But Eric Herbel, ever since he was inserted as the quarterback here at McKinney North, that's when they started winning and winning consistently. They have won 12 straight games here at Ron Post Stadium, make it 13 after tonight's game. And ironically, that win streak started, the very first game of that win streak started when Eric Herbel was the quarterback. When he became the quarterback of the McKinney North Bulldogs, they started winning. And it was, and I don't want to give all the credit, of course, to Eric Herbel, but here is A.J. Jones on a left toss, and he's corralled at the line of scrimmage and brought down at the 20-yard line, no gain. But when Eric Herbel was a freshman, they were undefeated on their freshman team. And, of course, the only time he's been a part of a non-winning team was that sophomore year of his when he didn't really play a whole lot. He played a slot receiver in kind of a backup situation. And that year he actually caught a few passes, 6 catches for 36 yards as a sophomore year. But he wasn't really a big part of that offense. But once he came a part of that offense and was the quarterback, the McKinney North Bulldogs started rolling, and they haven't really stopped since. Here is a handoff to Nate Hill, who's running left side, who's caught behind the line of scrimmage, and we've said that quite a bit tonight. Coming up for McKinney North on the tackle is going to be Martin Holmes, and Kenny McGowan also right there.
Oh, he just lost that yard. He just got into double digits on his last carry. Now he's back under. He's averaging less than a yard per carry, to tell you the struggles of the running game today. It's no passing yards.
3rd down and 11 here for McKinney Boyd with 4:30 left to go in the third. That's right, third quarter, I formation. Sears wants to pass, and he trips over Nate Hill's feet and goes down, and that's kind of been the night so far for McKinney Boyd. The ball is going to be at the 10-yard line, and they're going to have to punt this one away. Sears is not getting up real quickly, and now he does. It looks like he might have just turned his ankle a little bit. He might have stepped on Hill's foot, and I bet you that's what happened. We haven't talked to John Leidy in a while. John, have you hugged any mascots or anything like that lately?
Guys, I've been keeping it pretty clean the past couple weeks here. I've decided with the new mentality with being cooler, I've switched hats tonight. I'm wearing a different kind of hat, if y'all can notice that.
Did you switch religions?
All right, we'll take note of that.
No, I did not.
I mean, he doesn't even have anything on his face.
Here is the punt away. It's going to be taken by Brandon Dunn at the 41-yard line, and he will make his way up to the 31, so a 10-yard return for Brandon Dunn. And now North will take over in Boyd territory right at the 31-yard line. North has not been able to be stopped all night long. They have scored on every possession that they've had. Every possession.
No turnovers, no punts.
To start out the game, McKinney North went 59 yards, and then they went 93.
Wow.
They went 76, and then 93 again, 79, and then 16, and then 48. Here is a handoff to David Douglas up the middle. David Robinson, who makes his way to the 27-yard line. That win streak that we were talking about, that home win streak for McKinney North, goes all the way back to November the 5th, 2004, a 52-0 win over Frisco Centennial. That was the first win of the year for McKinney North that season. I take that back. That was the second win. Here's Stanko's pass. It's going to be
intercepted.
And will they rule it an interception? And it is. McKinney Boyd comes up with the football. He's trying to hit his slot receiver out there, but Blake Little says no. Blake Little picks it off, and it's Boyd who will take over at their own 23-yard line. The officials are talking there. And for the first time, McKinney North has turned the ball over.
Well, Stanko's pass just a little bit high. And that allowed the receiver trying to reach up. It was just beyond his grasp. And that allowed Little playing in center field just to pick it off. He had to move a little bit. It's not like he just caught it out of midair. Because if he could have done that, it would have been a big return. Monty, are you rooting for a Boyd touchdown at some point?
I'd like to see Boyd get on the board. I think anyone would. I think all North fans would at this point. Here's A.J. Jones with a handoff up the middle, and he's slung down after about a 1-yard gain.
I can tell you one team who doesn't want to see that, the defense on the field.
Obviously, the defense on the field and the defensive coaches would, they cherish shutouts.
Sure.
But the fans, sometimes feel sorry for little brother.
Yeah, because it's not like we're playing Frisco. I mean, the rivalry that McKinney and Frisco have as cities carries over surely on the high school level, but this is one of your own, again, some of these guys, have been teammates with some of the other guys on the other side.
Some of them have been teammates when they were younger. Here's a pass that's incomplete to Jeff Fuller. Yarborough threw a pretty good pass, hit him right in the numbers, but the flag is down.
Jared got interfered with. That's why. I mean, the pass was pretty good, but he was hit before the ball got there.
And Kenny McGowan once again has his hands turned to the sky. And it may be against McGowan. I'm not for sure, but he's acting like he's guilty anyway. That'll be a first down for Boyd to the 26-yard line. 2:08 left to go in the third quarter clock. This one getting closer to being in the books.
Boyd Broncos have 42 yards of total offense. I'll finish my point and have to.
Here's A.J. Jones on a handoff up the middle, and he's going to be slung down by, let's see. There's 9 orange helmets that were taking him down. Talking about swarming to the football, I think that's a classic example. Go ahead, Brandon.
Well, he gained a yard there, so they have 43 yards of total offense. The North team has spotted him 92 yards in penalties. You double Boyd's offensive output, and they still don't reach the amount of penalties that the Bulldogs have.
David Robinson playing some cornerback here as well. Again, lots of new faces into the game. Colin Hager into the game at a linebacker position, along with Josh Washington. Washington comes in with 9 tackles. Colin Hager comes in with 21. Hager also has 2 sacks on the season. Here's Yarborough in shotgun formation on 2nd down and 9. $1:25 left to go third quarter. He wants to throw the screen pass out to Fuller. It's caught. 30. Look out, 35. And Fuller has a first down to the 39-yard line. $1:14 left on the third quarter clock. McKinney North on top, 56-0.
That's the first completion on the game for the Broncos, and it went for 12 yards to Jeff Fuller.
Again, coming into tonight's game, McKinney Boyd has not been prolific in the offensive passing category. 20 out of 67, the 2 quarterbacks combined for 245 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 10 passes coming into tonight's game. Yarborough shotgun, handoff, Nate Hill up the middle, and man, is he met at the line of scrimmage. Is that Ruben Gonzalez again? And it is not. It is Justin Deshawn, 5'11", 230-pound defensive tackle. Wow.
Poor Nate.
What a freight train.
Yeah, that was supposed to be an option. As you could tell because of the way Yarborough was giving it to him, reading the defense. Maybe Yarborough read it wrong, or maybe some other blocks didn't get held, but Nate got hit by 3 white jerseys.
Yarborough back to pass. Oh, plenty of time trying to find Grant Gibson, and it's well covered by Kenny McGowan and also David Robinson. Gibson just didn't have a chance. He was blanketed on both sides there. A nice throw, however. Pretty nice throw. He threaded the needle a little bit, but it was a little bit too high.
Yeah, mechanically speaking, it wasn't bad, but it was a bad choice to throw it in between 3 defenders.
There's a flag on the play against McKinney Boyd. So 13 seconds left to go in the third quarter. And right now, as it stands, it's 3rd and 12. We'll see what they do with the sticks once they mark off the yards on this penalty, and we find out exactly what it is.
The illegal man downfield has been declined, bring up 3rd and 12. Penalties for everyone.
17-10 is what the scoreboard shows, the Frisco and Frisco Centennial score. Frisco on top there. Still no Lake Dallas and the Colony score. Yarborough under pressure, and he is sacked in the backfield, and now all 11 McKinney North orange hats are right there to make sure he goes nowhere. And now it'll be 4th down and very long, and that we'll pick up where we left off in the fourth quarter. 56-0, McKinney North on top. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Back to punt here for McKinney Boyd will be Travis Yarborough, standing at his own 21-yard line. Brandon Dunn will stand at his own 41. Snaps back, it's good. The punt is off. A low line drive kick is going to send Brandon Dunn back to his 31-yard line where he calls for the fair catch. They'll actually give him the 33-yard line. 33-yard line is where they'll spot it. So we're underway in the fourth quarter. McKinney North on top, 56-0. What a route.
You know, and here's the thing. I'm going to apologize to our listeners just a little bit. Normally, I mean, routes are hard enough to do, especially in a situation like this, because we're pro both sides. And so while we're happy that North is doing what they're doing, we're not too happy that Boyd is struggling along the way as well. So it makes this kind of tough. And I just want to show, apologize to our listeners out there who may have noticed, kind of this not disinterest, but go ahead, Monty.
No, Brandon, you were doing a fine job. McKinney North.
Was I?
McKinney North's Chris Williams, a new ball carrier into the game, a big gainer all the way down, crossing midfield to the 48-yard line. And Chris Williams, where did he come from? He shot out of a cannon there. And you're right, Brandon. It is very tough on the broadcasters trying to find things, to talk about during a game like this. 56-0. North on top, and if you're right, we want both sides to do well, but obviously we know what the situation is. Boyd's a new school. Here's a handoff once again to Williams, and this time not doing a whole lot. He's going to be taken down for a loss at the 49-yard line, and on the tackle is Cole Eakins.
Because I can assure you, were this McKinney North beating Highland Park 56-0, boy, we'd be all over that, having a great time. But unfortunately, they're doing it to one of our own, so that kind of tempers the enthusiasm just a little bit.
56-0 was the same score that McKinney North won their first game against Princeton on August 30th, 2002.
Ironic? Coincidence? Probably.
Second down and 11 here. Stanko back to pass, has his man, and is caught by Parker at the 40. And he's going to struggle to get down to the 36-yard line, and he's run out of bounds by Chris Thornton, the cornerback. Also into the game, Miller Burns for McKinney Boyd, and that'll pick up another first down. But how many times has McKinney North scored 50 or more? Well, the school record is 60. And that was against Sherman back on October 10th, 2003. And that was a barn burner of a game, 60-56, if you recall. Woo! This was going to be a handoff to Williams, but flags will fly before this one could get underway. Also, 52 points against Frisco Centennial on November the 5th, 2004. McKinney North scored 58 against Keller Central on October 28, 2005. And then, of course, last week scoring 55 on October 12th. So a lot of these, do you notice most of these are in October?
Maybe they get better when the weather turns.
All of these 50-point games come in October for the McKinney North Bulldogs, except for the very first one, obviously.
I wonder if John knows anything about that since he was a Bulldog. If it's a lucky month, if they just feel better in the month of October.
There's Stanko in shotgun formation on 1st and 15. He's going to hand off to Williams, and he's very quick up to the. Williams has the biggest burst of speed of any of the backs that we've seen so far out of Barrett and Cole. It's Chris Williams who has that dashing speed, kind of the sprinter type speed. And he gains 11 yards there. It'll be 2nd down and 4.
Man, if you want to look at his stats, a guy haven't called very often, but he's a 5'9", 150-pound senior. You'd think a guy with that ability, we've seen a little bit more, but yeah, keep in mind, this is against, for all intents and purposes, a JV team.
He came in tonight with 1 carry for 8 yards, obviously a lot more than that. He's going to be a little hoarse tonight here in the fourth quarter. 56-0, North on top here with 9:15 left to go. Shutouts for McKinney North. Obviously, that very first game they played, when they shut out Princeton. The next shutout that they had was against Frisco Centennial. Last game of the season in 2004, that was 52-0. And then they shutout a few weeks ago against the Colony, 42-0. So only 3 shutouts in school history. This one will be the 4th. Aaron Matthews will make the catch at the 31-yard line. And he'll be tackled by Chris Garrison from McKinney Boyd. So it'll be 4th down time for McKinney North. We'll see if they just kind of try to punt this one away and go for the, or maybe, they might try out Mr. Meyer and see what his leg can do here.
It's a good time as any.
It'd be a good time to just test out and see what your kicker has.
Be a 46-yard field goal. Who knows? You could be playing in the playoffs and may need it one day.
Well, however, they're going to go for it on 4th and 3 here. 2 receivers to the right. Stanko is going to hand off to Williams, who has the first down and more inside the 25 to the 23-yard line. 7:57 left to go in the game. And North will move the sticks, which is good because it'll keep the clock rolling here. 56-0.
Well,
North on top.
It'll roll once the sticks are set.
Boyd obviously in a situation where they've given up a lot of points every week. Nothing different.
Yeah,
nothing
but this
new
is pretty
here.
close to a high.
And
it looks like
the
2 count.
Looks like Boyd is going to have an encroachment here. It looks like, from my eyes anyway. And it will be. It'll be against McKinney Boyd. So it'll be 1st and 5 now, inside the 20 at the 18-yard line.
That's something that Boyd's been pretty good at consistently. That's only the 5th penalty of the game for 35 yards, so that hasn't really hurt them. That's very good to see out of a young team.
2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Stanko, the quarterback, is going to hand off Williams right up the middle, and he breaks through 10, 5, fighting his way towards the end zone, and he's down at the 1-yard line. Man, is he quick. Chris Williams, 5'8", $155 is all he is. He's not real big, but the junior running back is very, very fast. 7:13 and rolling here in the fourth quarter, 56-0. North on top. Everybody knew this would be a rout. It was just a matter of how much.
I realized I called him a senior earlier, but I was reading Jeffrey Williams' line, not Chris Williams.
Here's Stanko giving it back to Williams, who crosses. Or does he? Yes, he does. It's touchdown time in Texas, this time for Chris Williams. And now McKinney North has now eclipsed their high point total. It's 62-0. This is the most points ever scored by a McKinney North team.
Glad I could be a part of it.
And they will bring their extra point team on once again. Again, eclipsing the 60-point mark that they had against Sherman several years ago. But this one not quite the same game as that one. Here's the extra point, and it's true. 63-0. McKinney North over McKinney Boyd. 6:55 left to go. We'll be back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Poe Stadium. 63-0. McKinney North has a new record high for points in a game. 63 eclipses the 60 mark they set a couple of years ago. 6:55 left to go in the fourth quarter. McKinney Boyd has struggled all night. And looks like the only thing left is to see if North is going to get their fourth shutout in school history.
Or their 10th touchdown.
Of the night.
We're right, yeah.
And Meyer's going to fake the onside kick, and that would be something if they really onside kick.
At this moment, I wouldn't be surprised.
Right here. 63-0. 6:55 left to go. And the kick is on its way. It's a low line drive kick that's going to bounce at the 5. Fuller picks it up. And does he hand it? No, he keeps it. And he's going to cross the 20-yard line and be tackled after he struggles forward for a couple of more yards. But he's down at the 22-yard line, and that's where McKinney Boyd will take over. You know, Mr. Williams, who just scored the touchdown, just made the tackle on Jeff Fuller as well, along with Jamel Miner and company. Phillip Sears onto the field at quarterback for McKinney Boyd. Zach Jones, the fullback, and A.J. Jones, the tailback, are on the field as well. Jeff Fuller split out wide right. Grant Gibson split wide left. 1st and 10 at their own 23-yard line. Moving left to right. A.J. Jones will dot the offset I. And Sears is going to hand off to him right up the middle, and he's in trouble. And Jeremy Raines, it's not Jeremy Raines, obviously, because he plays for Boyd. Rick Billings makes the stop for McKinney North. Again, a lot of new players into the game tonight. John Leidy making his way.
Well, he's given up on this game. No, he just needs a battery. Just joking to everyone out there.
Leidy making his way up here in the booth.
We're having a little technical difficulties on charging of the battery to open up the curtain a little bit for the wireless headset.
Here's going to be a toss left side. That's A.J. Jones shaking and baking at the 20-yard line. Cuts it back inside, cuts it out. Look at him move. Look out. 25-30.
Go.
35-40. Cuts it inside. 45-50. Trying to break a couple of tackles and can't do it. Crosses midfield, but what a run by A.J. Jones. And, man, I tell you what, that kid can move.
Well, 32-yard gain there. That's exactly what Coach Drake's looking for his guys in this situation. Is just guys who don't quit. I mean, you know what? I can give you 63 reasons to quit right now. But you know what? Guys like A.J. Jones and the offensive line, they're still out there fighting. In fact, so much that one of the guys, Jeremy Rain, walking off with a little bit of an injury. He's walking under his own power for every one of his arms. Probably just got caught up in a helmet or something. But, that's a big gain into this juncture of the game.
1st down and 10 for McKinney Boyd. 63-0. North on top of Boyd here. I formation, and they're going to toss left side Nate Hill. And he's trying to find that far corner, and he's going to gain about a yard before he gets out of bounds. Nate Hill, who is a durable back, he's more of a north and south type of runner. When you have him running east and west, he just doesn't have that type of burst speed like A.J. Jones has. And he couldn't get to the corner there and actually do anything with it. He got to the corner, but once he got there, he couldn't turn upfield. Right. He was pretty much blocked because he didn't have that burst of speed. Nothing against Nate Hill. He's just a different type of runner.
Well, Matt, Nate Hill is an out-physically kind of running back, and you're not going to do that against this much improved dog-pound defense.
Gibson and Fuller split out wide. Jones and Hill in the backfield. Zach Jones. toss right side. Hill has it, and he cuts it up inside off of right tackle, and he's going to gain maybe a yard, and I think he's going to get back to the line of scrimmage, rather. So that'll bring up 3rd down and 8. Under 5 minutes now left to go in the game. Again, 63-0. North on top of Boyd. And if it were any other team than Boyd, I'd call it a laugher.
Look down at the southern part of the field. There's just, I think it's a coach or a trainer or something just walking along the field like there's not a football game going on.
You don't see that very often. It's like a JV game or a freshman game or something. Here's a quarterback, Sears, throwing the fade route down for Jeff Fuller, who is interfered with by Kyle Dancy, and that'll be a 1st down. Fuller is probably a good play by Dancy because Fuller probably would have come up with the football. But obviously the interference and Fuller's jersey's ripped down below his shoulder pads. So
I say just do that every play. Fuller running a fade, just throw it up there. Either they're going to pass interfere or you're going to get really close to a catch. And if you do that 3 plays, and if you're successful on it once out of 3 times, 1st down, keep moving. Build something to build on. Jeff Fuller's a good player. That's a relatively low-risk pass because Jeff Fuller's bigger than anybody out there on defense in the secondary.
And I think that's true to some extent, but I think what Coach John Drake's wanting to do right now is make sure he's doing the right things to make these kids better. And here's another fade route. As I say that, and Jeff Fuller will make the catch in the end zone. It's touchdown time in Texas. Sears to Fuller on a 29-yard touchdown reception.
All of a sudden, I feel like it's a good game. I don't know. That just made me happy to see that. Good job. Way to go, Boyd. Nice job by Philip Sears. It was a nice pass. He threw that to where one person only could catch that. That was Fuller. He got underneath it, score. All of a sudden, shutout's gone.
Yep, it's 63-6. No 4th shutout tonight in school history.
There's no holder on the field. Yarborough's out there ready to kick, and there's no holder.
They're going to take a timeout. We will, too. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Well, the extra point is good for McKinney Boyd as they did get their holder out on the field. Weston Eubanks, who just forgot. Weston Eubanks has been injured. Credit. You have to give him. You have to understand, Weston Eubanks has been injured with a hip injury, a nagging hip injury all year long. And it just so happens that, he's not playing tonight, but he is still the holder. So I think he probably just forgot that he needed to go out there.
I don't think he forgot that he had to be out there. It was probably more likely because he's injured, he just didn't think it was his shift to be out there. And holders relatively pain-free, or, contact-free. I mean, unless something just goes horribly wrong on the play, which is, is possible. But how about that, Monty? Touchdown, Boyd.
Boyd is on the board, 63-7. The shutout is over. So there will be no 4th ever shutout in McKinney North history. Not tonight, anyway.
Well, but they still have the highest points, so they'll go down in the record books one way or another. The shutout would have just been, a minor milestone, but this is the most points ever scored, so this will always be at the top and will be mentioned one day when they're able to score either more than 63 or however many if they add another touchdown. Well, I didn't think that one touchdown would energize me so much, but that was really good to see. I'm really glad Boyd was able to get that one on the board.
Well, you always root for the underdog at some point.
Especially when it's one of your own in this situation.
Sure, absolutely. And McKinney Boyd will fake the onside here.
And North really thought they might have done it. They had 7 guys up at the line.
They will boot this one away with 4:14 left to go in the game, 63-7 now. Yarborough's kick is going to be a low line drive kick. It'll be taken at the 15-yard line. Up to the 20, up to the 25 goes McKinney North. And on the return for McKinney North, again, new players even on their return team, and I didn't have a chance. That might have been Sims. Scores to pass along again, of course, last night's scores. Little Elm over McKinney 28-20. And Denison over Denton 37-35 in a last-minute comeback victory. Frisco tonight over Frisco Centennial 17-10. Sherman losing to Wichita Falls 21-10. South Lake Carroll over Justin Northwest 31-7. Hillcrest has been beaten by Lincoln, who came back and won 15-14 on a field goal. Highland Park over don't call him J.J. Pierce anymore. Richardson Pierce 52-19. Allen over Plano West 24-13. Here's Stenko, the quarterback, is going to hand off a new running back into the game once again, who makes his way out to the 36-yard line.
Alex Porter?
Yep. So out to the 36-yard line goes Alex Porter. Porter is a 5'11", 160-pound senior, and that is his first carry of the year. Wiley over Plano 20-3. Plano East over Berkner 21-14, and West Mesquite over Mesquite Poteet 21-7. Right here, 63-7.
Well, Porter was the 6th ball carrier for the Bulldogs.
It's going to be a handoff once again for Porter, who is going to have another couple yards gained on this play. As they'll mark him 1 yard as they give him the 38-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 6 for McKinney North, and it's just about trying to milk this clock now.
Yeah, stay in bounds.
We're under 3 minutes.
Only get enough first downs to keep the drive alive, but don't get first down after first down. And sticks will cause the clock to stop until they're set.
Shotgun formation now. Porter goes in motion. He gets the handoff. Running left tackle. Big hole to the 45 and marked down at the 46-yard line. A first down for McKinney North. So that'll move the sticks and keep the clock rolling once they set the sticks. 2:33 left to go at this point. A.J. Jones in on the tackle there for McKinney Boyd. Again, a lot of new faces into the game. Jordan Taylor is going to come split wide left. Alex Parker into the game at the slot, and split out wide right is Lee Cothran. Stanko is going to hand off to Porter again over right tackle. Another big hole, and he has another first down to the 42-yard line. Alex Porter making his way to another first down, and some good yardage here tonight. Move those sticks and keep that clock rolling. 63-7.
Well, that gain of 12 doubled his output. 4 carries, 24 yards on this drive. That's been all him.
We do have to mention now that Chase Barrett, with 2,539 yards coming into tonight's game, adding more than that tonight, obviously, is now the all-time leading rusher in McKinney North history. There's going to be Stanko in trouble behind the line of scrimmage, is caught for a loss. $1:36 on the clock. I don't have the exact stats on me, but I'll have them next week. Shannon Woods was obviously the all-time leading rusher in McKinney North history, and now Chase Barrett has surpassed him with his 2,539 yards coming in, and he's added to that tonight.
Yeah, 70 yards for the game for Barrett.
70? So
4 touchdowns on 11 carries.
So over 2,600 yards now. I have to wait because I think Shannon Woods was 26-something, so he may not have yet passed Shannon Woods. Here's a handoff to Porter, who's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and driven backwards by McKinney Boyd. Matt Morton comes up and makes the stop. A great play there by Morton. Also on the stop for Boyd was Miller Burns.
Monty, while we're at it, let's thank Jermaine Designs for making us look as spiffy as we do and trying to do these blowouts.
Well, we both remembered to wear our shirts tonight. And
that's a minor victory in and of itself.
our broadcast shirts, I should point out.
Yeah, we don't ever do a game shirtless. We usually remember apparel of some kind.
Germain Designs, we do want to thank them for everything they do over the years. They're in Denison. Give them a call. They can do any embroidery work that you need done. That is the end of the ball game as Stanko will take a knee there. 13 seconds will run off of this clock here. In McKinney North, your Bulldogs have beat the McKinney Boyd Broncos tonight 63-7. We're going to take a timeout and come back and talk to some players. And a happy head coach Sean Pratt right after this, 63-7 on 97.5 KLAK.